Hi, everybody. I'm Steve, that's Emily, that's John. We are Percentile Vice, and we are playing Delta Green. Had a great session last time with our first attempt at playing Delta Green, playing the scenario that is put forth in the Handler's Guide, if you buy the book, and the name of the scenario is Fulminate. I am your game master. Emily is playing Agent Petri, and John is playing Agent Scotch, who are in their mundane world jobs, a EPA scientist, criminal investigator, and Air Force Special Ops search and rescue kind of guy, respectively. They were called away from their homes on the 4th of July weekend and taking military transport, went to Sacramento, where they met with a handler who told them about a strange case in Yosemite National Park of a young boy that had just walked up to a park ranger and asked to call his parents. A little investigation determines that this child had actually disappeared from Yosemite 40 years ago, but he was still 6 years old. The agents went to Yosemite with the mission of find the child, identify the child, identify the child, enunciate.
That was definitely in our things. Be sure you enunciate.
Enunciate. But there's a big sign on the wall behind Emily's head that says, enunciate, Steve. Find the child, identify the child, determine if anything unnatural was happening. If so, stop it, and then cover it all up and make sure it looked mundane after you were done. You got there, you met the child, strange child who he was, a little spotty on his memories, but you were able to pull a little bit out of him that he'd been in some underground lair ruled by these weird, tall, bluish-skinned people, and they had kept him down there for years, mostly in a sleeping state. He was able to get loose. Apparently, he woke up and after a bad dream, and all of the weird creatures around him were just scattered across the floor, almost as if his dream had caused something there in the caverns. And he thought himself back to the surface. Doing a little bit of investigating, you guys checked out the nearby dam. You looked at the Devil's Chair, which is the area that he was abducted from, trying to find passageways down to these lower caverns, not able to find any. All the while, big storms brewing. It's raining like crazy right now. You get back to the ranger station. Agent Petri spends a little more time with the child. Agent Scotch goes out after having seen one of these tall, almost 12-foot tall creatures with blue skin wearing nothing but a loincloth. Goes and chases him down. When we left off, Agent Scotch, who was dealing with the young child, Brandon McGill,
no, Agent Petri.
I'm sorry, Agent Petri, who was dealing with a young child, Brandon McGill, happened to glance out the window and saw another Brandon McGill. She was rocked back against the wall, took a little bit of sanity loss there. At the same time, Agent Scotch out in the field had come across one of these large creatures and took a shot at him. The shot missed, and then the creature just phased out, disappeared. The rain is pouring down. It is dark. It is wet. Every now and then a bolt of lightning will crash, and it's so close that it lights the whole area up like day, and then boom, it goes back to night. So really screwing with your night vision a little bit there, Agent Scotch. And so that's where we are. Agent Scotch, you will notice that it seems to be getting a little darker. And you don't know if that's because the clouds are getting even worse, if that's possible, or if it's because the sun, which you haven't seen in several hours, is starting to go down. So, what would you like to do, Agent Scotch?
He would like to case the area a little bit and see if there's any other stretchy smurfs in the area.
Stretchy Smurfs. Azrael.
All right.
The cat.
Give me a search roll. Base is 20%. Or I'll let you use survival if you'd like.
I would
it's a
much
wooded
rather
area.
use survival. And I still failed with a 65.
Nice.
Okay. You think that you find like some footprints that are huge, but I mean, by the time you get down there to take a good look at them, the rain is driving down. Where you thought you saw a footprint near where the guy was, by the time you get there to look at it, it's just everything's just mush. It's mud, a little bit of grass.
I will make my way back to the, what were we calling it? The
Ranger station.
ranger station. And while I'm making my way back, I'm going to keep my head on a swivel and see if I see anything else.
Okay, let's get back over to Agent Petri for a minute. You are up against the wall, opposite the window that looks out onto the little parking area and the field right in front of the ranger station, where your helicopter landed not too many hours ago. But you are up against the far wall, having backpedaled and just kind of kept going back until you hit that wall. You probably even slid down it a little bit. What's going on with Agent Petri?
I am very concerned because I have spent the majority of this day dealing with little Brandon McGill, and to see little Brandon McGill under a desk and also outside of a window tapping at me.
Tapping, gently rapping upon your chamber window.
Yes. Is very, very disturbing. So I think once I've kind of centered myself back correct, I am going to look back at Brandon in the room, Brandon. And I remember he said something about, he didn't know who that child was, because I asked him, is it one of your friends? And he didn't know. Brandon, are the blue people, are they able to, mess with your vision, make you see things, or make things that aren't supposed to be there? Are they able to do any of that kind of stuff?
Gee, I don't know. I know they can get in your head. That's how they talk to you.
Okay, but you also see the child out the window. You saw the child before you got under the desk, right?
Yeah, and then with that, he kind of grab the edge of the desk and pull himself over and just peer over the top of the desk out the window. He says, "Yeah, I did."
I'm really gonna hate asking this, Brandon, but what do you mean did?
He's not there anymore.
I'm gonna very shakily stand up and look over at the window as best I can.
Okay, the curtains have kind of fallen back into place, but as before, you can kind of see through them, and they're a little wider off at the bottom, but you don't see a body form there.
Okay. So I'm going to march over to the window, and I'm going to pull the curtains down. I'm going to rip the curtains all the way down. I want full visibility out the windows in this room.
Okay. Yeah, I don't even need a roll for that. Anybody.
Yeah, I've seen several children pull curtains down.
A curtain down.
I have many curtains to tell that tale.
Cats, too.
Yeah.
So you look out and you can see the porch really well because it's covered. Past the porch, though, it is just driving rain. And you can barely make out the couple of 4-wheel drive Jeeps and the ATVs that are parked out in front. But give me a notice is not the thing in this game. What is it?
It's
alertness.
Alertness.
Maybe. Yeah, let's go with alertness. Give me alertness, but at a -40. That means you got to roll under. What is your alertness?
50.
Yeah. So you need a 10 or better to see through this driving rain.
74. Is that better than 10?
No. Not in this game.
Dang.
Yeah. You've seen that kind of rain before, right? That is just.
Oh yeah, where
so
it's just like
it's
a
just
wall.
sheets of water coming down. So you see nothing. So, Scotch, are you taking the most direct route back to the ranger station? You had been kind of doing the perimeter going along the tree line, which kind of makes this U shape around the ranger station, or how are you doing it?
I think I am taking the most direct route back.
Okay, so not too long after you get started, the most direct route has you on the road that leads up, and it's the only road in or out. And you're going down that road. Give me an alertness check, also at a -40 because of the rain.
Rolled a 64, so 104.
Okay. Yeah, it is. You can't even see the ranger station right now. You just know what direction it's in. But you eventually make it to it, and sopping wet, step up onto the porch, and you notice that the two windows on the porch that look into the ranger's office, they're just wide, not open. The curtains are gone, and you can see Agent Petri kind of peering out into the rain and darkness.
I imagine he kind of like emerges from the rain in a very sudden moment. I probably do. God, shit. Because I'm like so freaked out by the outside of this room.
So I would like to get all the guests, the campers and whatnot, off to one side, and I would like to try to fortify the room.
Okay, well, as you step in, you notice that most of the campers have been herded upstairs by Ranger Gallegos. There is, let's say, 2 that are still in that main common room that is just to the right when you come in the door. And to the left, the little hallway that leads down to the office where the child is and where Agent Petri is Agent Gallegos kneeling down over another camper. And you probably hear a conversation like, "What the hell were you thinking? You took a swing at me and then you ran down this hallway." And the guy on the ground is like, I don't know how I got here. I don't remember any of that. He's laying on the ground. The door to the office is closed. It had never been closed before.
So when I see that and I hear that conversation, I'm going to remove the flexible cuffs, aka zip tie, and I am going to assist her in getting him restrained.
Subdued.
Yeah, I think when you get there and with the flexible cuffs, at first she starts to like, why this isn't, and then it kind of dawns on her that maybe this is necessary, and so you put the cuffs on the 2 of you, like each of you grab him under an arm and get him to his feet. Where would you like to take him?
Is there an empty room upstairs that we could?
Upstairs is mostly. You haven't been upstairs yet. I can tell you, when you walk in the ranger station, to the left is a hallway, and then the office. To the right was a common area. In front of you is the stairs. Just to the right of the stairs is a little hallway that goes back into some other area.
So, is she trying to get him somewhere?
Yeah.
Does she seem like she knows where she's going to take him?
Yeah. Let's say that you guys help him up, and then she just kind of starts leading, and you're following. Not like you're behind her, but like a dance.
Yeah.
And she goes down the short hallway, turns to the left towards the stairs, and then veers to the right of the stairs. And back there you find there's a small little storage room. Nothing really that important in here. It's like there's some blankets and maybe paper towels for the bathroom, stuff like that. And she helps ease him down to the floor and says, just sit here and cool off for a little bit.
What happened, Ranger?
I was getting everybody upstairs because, they kept peering out the window talking about Sasquatch and shit. And we just decided it'd be better if everybody went upstairs. There's like a window up there, but, they were going crazy with conspiracy theories and everything. And then, so we were heading them up there. A couple of them didn't want to go. And then just out of the blue, this guy is like, his eyes glazed over, and he just took a swing at me, shoved his way past me, and went running down the hallway. Your other agent was able to slam the door just before he got there. I mean, he ran face first into the thing. By the time I got to him, he was on the floor, a little woozy. But
well, these other two downstairs, what are they doing down there now?
They were the last holdouts of me trying to get folks upstairs. That we've got a right to be down here. You can, the type. But
yeah, I'll give you a hand with that, and I'm gonna turn and walk down in that direction.
Okay. All right. So you're around the corner, and you go in, and there's the two of them, and they're staring out in the window. One of them has his hands down by his side. The other one has his hands up in front of him. And when they hear you walk in, they turn around. And the one with his hands up in front of him has his cell phone in front of him. And he's like, you could just tell by the mannerisms and everything that he is like recording video. Yeah, and so these FBI agents are here too. There's something crazy going out there. I swear we saw some like Sasquatch thing or whatever. Is these men in black shit going on. That's what it's all about.
I'm going to pull my weapon. And
dude, I got you on camera, man.
I'm pulling my weapon.
Hey, we have rights.
And it will be ready. And I'm going to say, surrender your camera. Now.
Oh, man, this is America, dude. I got rights. And, you got to follow the Constitution, man. Well, what gives you the right, man?
I am commandeering that. It is impeding a federal investigation, and you have until I count to 3 to hand it over. 1,
oh, man.
2.
This is just not right. Look at these people trying to run our lives and stuff.
3,
man.
and I'm going to snatch it.
Okay. Give me let's do opposing dex rolls. What do you think about that?
Sounds good.
He just moves his phone. Oh, you got to be quicker than that.
So you're rolling at 5 times the dex number. All right. So
mine was a pass of 53 against an 85.
His was a fail. So tell me what that looked like.
He's running his mouth and talking about rights, and I take one hand off of my ready position firearm and reach over very quickly, snatch the phone, throw it to the ground, and stomp on it without the weapon being trained against him moving. And I say, now you need to go upstairs before I have to take you into custody or worse.
All right, so he blinks hard, right? Like, where did that hand come from? How did you snatch that quickly? And then his whole demeanor changes. Like, one, my phone. 2, the gun, and 3, the look on your face is like, hey man, I just, okay.
I understand, but we do not have time to play here. This is a very important federal investigation. We have to get progress on it. And if you are down here, there is a chance that if weapons are discharged, you could be in the crossfire. So I need you upstairs now.
So there is something out there, man.
I can neither confirm nor deny the presence of anything else, but we are in the middle of something. I need you to get upstairs now.
All right, man. And so his buddy sitting next to him had all while had looked, like he was there and was going to back his buddy up. Stands a lot shorter after the whole phone incident. Seeing the speed with which you moved and the fact that the gun never moved. Completely stayed in the same spot as the rest of your body went. That he just, yeah. So, with a little bit of cajoling, not much, they start heading up the stairs, and all of the backpackers are upstairs now.
I'm going to start barricading as much as I can so that there is only one way into or out of the room where Petri and Brandon are. Just kind of moving furniture in front of doors and that kind of thing.
Okay, well, there is just the single door that leads in there, and it opens inward. So are you going into that room and barricading, or are you barricading it from the outside?
I was just mainly trying to keep the outside of the building, make sure that it's not completely porous.
Sure.
So, if there was a front door and a back door.
Yep, there's only the front door.
Okay.
And then there are several windows around the building.
Okay, then I will go in the room, and when I go in the room, I will barricade that door.
Okay. It's pretty easy to, slide a desk over or whatnot. So,
Petri, I saw one of them in the woods. He had a little bit of distance on me, but when I managed to gain, he was coming at me, and I tried to take a shot, and he just completely disappeared.
Yeah, that tracks. I saw Brandon.
He's right there.
Not that one. That one was under the desk. I saw another one of Brandon outside the window, just tapping at the window at me.
I'm gonna turn to Brandon. Brandon, do you have any brothers or sisters?
No, sir.
Did you know that these tall guys can just disappear and move around without actually moving?
Yeah, I've kind of seen them do that before. Not much. I mean, I was asleep a lot, but...
Do you know, are they moving from one place to another like that? Or are they just, you can't see them? Have you ever touched one that you couldn't see?
No. I never really tried to touch them. I didn't really like those guys. But,
that makes sense. I don't think it was just invisible. I think it either became incorporeal or teleported somehow.
Which is lovely. And they can either make multiple people see the same thing, because me and Brandon both saw other Brandon, or they're able to materialize facsimiles of people. So yeah, all around, really great turn of events.
I'm going to say this quietly enough that I don't think Brandon can hear. Going to turn to you and say, do you think it's possible that they possibly have a lab set up and are cloning him because of whatever special skills he has?
I mean...
Are you sure that the other Brandon disappeared and just didn't leave?
No, I'm not sure of that at all. But what are the odds that this Brandon managed to escape, and clones of Brandon also managed to escape after 40 years on the same day.
What are the odds of any of this happening?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying. I don't know. But I do know that there should only be one Brandon, and I'm not 100. If there are clones or projections into our minds, I don't know if that Brandon is actually Brandon, or if the Brandon that was outside is actually Brandon. And that's my bigger concern, is not why or how, but are we saving the right child? But they are trying very hard to communicate with him and to get into this room to get to him. So we have to figure out something to do and do it fast, because I don't know about you, but I don't think that this room with all of these very breakable glass windows is super fitting.
No, definitely not. But
and then there
with
was some
what
guy
I've
who tried
seen,
to
they can
bust
just
in here.
come in. Glass or no, I moved the desk in front of the door, but if they can teleport, that's not going to stop anything.
So that, you're right, and that makes me believe that they're not teleporting. They may be phasing in and out of corporealness, but I don't know that they're teleporting, because they're trying desperately to get him to come out or to try to get in. If they could just teleport, they wouldn't need to be trying to convince him to come out to them or trying to do stuff, because the guy in the hallway who ran and tried to attack, I'm not 100%, but I'm very close to 100% for sure that he was being controlled by them.
Gallegos did say his eyes glazed over and he had a funny look to him.
Yeah, I mean, the intensity, a civilian could not muster up that kind of intensity towards a child in another room when there's something there's no reason for it. None. That makes me believe they can't teleport, because they're trying other tactics to get him out of this building. If they could teleport, they wouldn't need to. They could have just popped in and got him. They wouldn't be dancing around us trying to poke at the defenses. Right?
Right. So
maybe they just travel in invisible ways or in other planes of existence. I don't know, but
if they were going actually incorporeal, then probably just walk through the door in the desk.
So that leaves us with invisible, or they're shifting in planes.
So how do we get them to go away? Brandon.
You look down, and Brandon is still under the desk, and he has taken the blanket that was wrapped around him when he was sitting on a chair, and he has wadded it up. It is now beneath his head. Brandon has fallen asleep.
We could try to make them think we're giving them what they want.
You mean like something outside wrapped up in a blanket that looks like Brandon?
How tall is Ranger Gallegos compared to Brandon?
Brandon is 6. So even if Ranger Gallegos was on the short side, let's say 4'11", she's still a couple feet above.
Is there anything like this ranger station? Does it have a CPR mannequin or...
Oh, wow.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was about to ask, do they have a CPR dummy?
Yeah, so you don't see one around here, but that room that she just put the crazed camper in seemed like it was holding storage stuff like that. If based on what you've seen of this place, that would be the first place you'd look.
I know you think that you're very slick, but I know for a fact you brought more than what they told us we could bring in our standard issue suits here. So did you bring any explosives of any kind?
Can I confirm? I believe I didn't take anything.
You talked about putting some grenades in your pockets.
Slipped a smoke grenade into your suit.
No.
Do you have enough knowledge that with some basic supplies could make an explosive? I mean, I have a good working knowledge of biology, but I don't know that that really applies to explosives. Reactants and stuff,
So,
I mean, is there.
I will have to run it by our handler, but I have a 60 in demolitions and a 0 in craft.
No, I think the demolitions is good enough.
I mean, you're only crafting something for it to break, so it's fine.
Well, it would probably take a pretty good knowledge of the chemistry of those sort of things.
So we could make like a decoy of some kind, even if they don't have a CPR dummy, bundle up clothes and tape them together to look like a child-sized thing, wrap it in the blanket, put a bomb in it, let them steal the child, quote-unquote, blows them up.
It also blows up all the other children wherever they take it.
Not if you make it a short enough fuse, like it could blow them up in the yard. Just saying.
Again, there is if not unlikely, at least a chance that they can teleport directly there. Didn't he say he used a thought to come here?
Yeah.
If they can use a thought to go back, then you've just blown up the whole damn orphanage.
Fine. But I mean, if we give them a fake, they're going to get back, realize it's a fake, and then blink right back here. We're right back where we started. We won't have achieved anything.
How tall is Petri?
You'll have
Taller
to
than
ask
a
Petri
6-year-old.
that. Taller than an exploding mannequin.
Or we could set up kind of like a trap that would snare one. But I don't know if it would hold it. Just depends on what kind of method of travel they're actually using.
I'm going to look out the window. Still raining hard.
Mm-hmm. Give me an alertness roll. Minus 40.
97.
Yeah, you see a lot of water.
So much water.
Give me a luck roll.
I keep thinking eventually I'll find dice that aren't rolling
In the
completely crap, but that's an 85.
Okay. I was checking to see if there was a bolt of lightning that lit up the outside for
That
you
would've
right
been
then.
Then I guess the only option is to let them try. Let them try to come get them, and we try to defend them, because if we can't bait them, if we can't go on offense, we have to stay on defense.
Both of you give me an alertness roll. No negatives.
A 7 versus a 50. Don't look at me like that. If you use rainbow dice like I do, you'd have
99.
so absorbed in the
It's
mannequin
got like
explosion.
an 80 in alertness. Right? It can't seem to roll under it tonight. Yeah. I've got several sets of 10-sided dice over here if you want to borrow some.
Luckily, with that fail, my alertness will be going up.
That's right. Don't forget when you fail something to be checking it off.
We're trying to remember.
Okay. So as you guys are standing there talking and trying to figure out what the plan is, at some point in there, this stapler starts to shimmy itself over to the side of the desk. You guys are too absorbed in yourselves, and then it, boom, falls off the desk. Startles the hell out of both of you.
I didn't even notice it with my 7.
Oh, I'm sorry. You got a 7.
A 7.
Yes, you noticed while you were talking that the stapler just started kind of wobbling a little bit, and then the wobble made it kind of move closer and closer to the edge of the desk. And the fact is, just as it's about to fall off, you reach over there and grab it before it hits the ground.
As it's wobbling, I'm like doing that thing where he's like ranting and talking, and I'm like, hey. And he's just like talking over me, and then finally, like, it happens. Like, he's just not paying any attention. So I'm going to look down at Brandon.
So Brandon is sleeping, but it's a little fitful, almost like he's dreaming a little bit. There's like some twitching and maybe some, little whines coming from him. So probably some kind of REM sleep, but yeah.
I'm going to lean down and see if he's like maybe mumbling in his sleep.
Give me a luck roll.
A 60.
No, there's some whimpering, but no words that you can make out.
Okay.
Can I think of a way to set the snares, traps that she was mentioning to try to catch one of these?
We'll make an intelligence roll, and I'm going to go -20 on this.
I also have military science land, but that's more of a guerrilla tactic kind of thing.
If you'd rather use that than your intelligence, you can.
I mean, guerrilla tactics would also be like traps and shit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like
guerrilla warfare.
Punji sticks in the middle of pits and...
Came very close to making military science one at 44 on a 60.
That's close. Yeah, so you're thinking about it. Nothing pops into your mind, but I will allow you to continue to think of it. And, the roll is not going to give you this flash of brilliance where I'm going to tell you how you could make a trap. But if you and the character can come up with a concept for a trap, I'll absolutely let you try it.
Okay, I'm going to move the desk and walk out of the room and back to the closet. The storage closet where we dropped off the guy.
Yeah, the door is pulled closed. Doesn't appear to be a lock on it.
I'm going to open it.
Yeah, there's a guy sitting on the ground looking pretty embarrassed, ashamed. Hey man, any chances, I swear I'm good. Any chance we could get these off and maybe I could get a chair or something?
I could get you a chair, I believe. Hold on. I'm going to shut the door. And I'm going to go find Ranger Gallegos. Be like, Ranger, the guy down there seems to have come out of whatever had possessed him earlier. Do you want me to cut him loose and let him come up here with the rest of you, or do you want to leave him down there?
Yeah, so she was upstairs kind of herding the cats up there. People are getting settled down. The whole, what was that out the window hysteria has kind of died down. People are just like sitting cross-legged on the floor, leaning up against the wall, kind of riding the storm out kind of thing. So I'm assuming you kind of pulled her off to the side a little bit before you mentioned no longer possessed or whatever your words were. It's like, just send him up here, but I think it's best to just cut those things off of him. Otherwise, there's going to be a lot of questions up here and stuff. So.
Also, do you have any supplies other than what's in that closet he's in?
If I had glasses, I'd have a bunch of supplies. So upstairs, to the east is this huge open area, and that's where everybody's milling around. To the west, which is the room that would be like directly over the office room, she tells you there's another storage area.
Before I go back down, I'm going to say thank you, Ranger, and I'm going to walk over to that storage and see what is in there.
Okay.
I'm looking specifically for a CPR dummy, rope, maybe blankets or something that I would be able to cut up into a rope, that sort of thing.
Yeah, so you definitely find blankets and rope. Give me a luck roll on the CPR dummy. I don't know how often they actually conduct CPR classes at a ranger station.
Well, you have to recertify every 3 years.
Okay. Again.
It's just the only contribution I had.
49.
49.
Oh.
So as you're gathering up some blankets or whatever, like covered in dust, years of disuse, more than 3 as a matter of fact, in the corner, slightly covered up with a tarp or whatever, you just happen to see the plastic head of a CPR dummy.
And the lips are chapped and cracked and looks like it hadn't been cleaned the last time it's put away, so there's like a film around them.
Scott
It's like you're in my mind. That's
Scott
exactly.
starts making out with the CPR dummy.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
I don't know why your brain went to
I
that.
don't know either, because you start talking about the lips like really intently, and I'm like, why are you staring at them?
And much to your probable delight, it's only half. This mannequin's only half the man he used to be. There are no legs. It's just like from the belly button up. Just
He has a nameplate that says Lieutenant Dan.
wow.
I'm sorry.
I have to remember to cut that when I do this edit.
Lieutenant Dan doesn't have it's from Forrest Gump.
It's a little insensitive. I'd cut it if I were you.
Get sucked.
So, rope, mannequin, blankets, any possible way that there's a bear or coyote trap?
Yeah, I'm not even going to give you a luck roll on that. That's just a no.
Figured.
There are cleaning supplies and stuff like that. You know, probably some bleach, ammonia, Windex, stuff like that.
I'll grab the bleach and ammonia.
Okay.
And with my arms full of the things, gonna shuffle on down, drop them off in the office, go back around to the other storage closet, cut him up, cut his restraints off.
Just turned into a psycho kid. Just slashes him up.
It's a whole different genre of horror now.
I'm gonna say, what's your name?
Cade.
All right, Cade. Here's the situation. We are in the middle of something. The welfare of a child is at stake here, and if we have any more trouble out of you, it is very possible because I have just exhausted my supply of flexible cups that I'm just going to have to put you down. So go on upstairs.
His eyes get real big. You mean like put me down on the floor, right?
If that
yeah,
would
I'm
make
going
you feel
upstairs,
better.
sir. Yeah, he goes upstairs, and when he gets up there, you can hear downstairs him say something like, "Oh man, I've got it all figured out, man. It's a kid or something needs medical attention, and well, with this rain and everything, they're probably just trying to get the medical people in here."
Is there anything noticeably useful in this storage closet?
Give me a luck roll.
43.
Look at you. Your luck has turned. What would you like to be in this thing? Matches. There's some matches. More cleaning supplies.
Bottles, maybe?
Sure, there's some bottles.
Walkie-talkies. I have a reason.
We already have radios, though. Walkie-talkies.
Not in here, but you recall seeing that there's a little charging station with like little handheld walkies in the office, like on one of the desks, like 4 bays. There's 3 of them in there, and probably one on Gallegos' hip right now.
Okay. I'll go grab the whole charging station and bring it back.
To the office?
To the office.
It was in the office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you remember seeing in the office those...
So I have this mannequin. I have some bleach and ammonia. We could make a very potent chemical weapon from it, but I don't know the wiseness of that.
Right.
I have some rope and stuff. We could try to make your snares. I don't know if it'll work, but I don't have any better ideas, so it's worth a shot.
Yeah. So, my thought was, if we can stage the blanket and the mannequin to look like the child, move the child to another room where nobody has seen him be moved to. So none of the people that they could ensnare upstairs would know to go any other place than this room where they know him to be. If we can set up a snare in this room and make it convenient for them to be able to get into this room, might be able to catch one.
It's worth a shot.
So as you guys are arranging all this stuff and having this little conversation, Emily, make me a sanity roll, please. I'm sorry. Agent Petri, make me a sanity roll, please.
A 58 versus a 64.
Okay. You just felt... You don't know how to describe it other than something trying to enter your mind. Take 1 point of sand loss. You can check off another block of helplessness. But you were able to push back against it.
Scotch, I don't know how to explain this other than for you to just trust me, but I felt a presence press against my mind just now. Something trying to claw its way in. So, me and you need to be very careful about what we do.
Okay.
Make a sand roll, Agent Scotch.
15.
Yeah, I'm certain you have more than 15. Though, you know, in
46.
other games.
Other games, not so much.
Okay. As she's trying to explain to you the sensation she felt, it's almost like you're feeling it as she's explaining it. You feel something trying to enter your mind, but you're able to push it back. So take 1 point of sand loss and check a box of helplessness.
What?
Dobie keeps popping things up on me.
Have you tried giving him some socks?
Up on pop.
No, that's just giving Dobie some socks.
Buster has given Dobie a sock, but Dobie is free to use.
I wish.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens if you ever set Adobe free.
Right.
They will no longer be.
Somebody give Adobe some socks. Give Adobe Plus or Adobe Pro or whatever the
Whatever it's called.
Give it some socks.
Okay. So I guess we start trying to situate this.
So I'm just curious, are you going to let her know that happened to you, or are you keeping it to yourself?
I don't think he would.
I don't think he would either.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, man, but something, maybe it's just stress, but I felt very vulnerable to something for a minute. So just, I guess it's implied, but I didn't think of it, that we are not immune to whatever is affecting people out there.
Of course not. Let's keep going with the plan and get it working, because I don't know how long we have before something else breaks.
Your footsteps in the hall. Did you close the door?
I didn't say I closed the door, so no.
Okay. Ragent. Enunciate, Steve.
Raging Gallegos. That was her nickname when she played basketball in college.
Yeah. Ranger Gallegos comes into the room, walking very stiffly. And she turns to you and she says, "Give us the child now." And then with a blink, and she looks around with this, "How the hell did I get in this office?" look on her face.
Did you need something, Ranger?
No, I guess maybe I was coming down here for something, but I forgot. I better go back up and check on everybody, make sure everybody's staying calm.
Certainly.
So I'm going to start dressing up the mannequin.
Okay.
So basically we're making a child-sized mannequin dressed in a blanket, kind of set up, and I want to put a walkie-talkie with like the button taped down in the clothes.
Okay. I like that. So, you know, the way the book explains when a roll is needed and when it isn't needed, like, you know, if anybody can do something, it doesn't matter, or you can just say, if anybody's got above a 60 in this particular skill, they can just do it. It's just a matter of time or whatever. But when things are really hectic, or you got to do something fast, or there are consequences to failure, then that's when a roll ought to be used, right? And it seems to me like there are consequences to failure of making this little baby dummy.
Yes.
So I would like both of you to tell me what skill you would like to use or attribute to apply to the building of this babykin.
So forensics, because
Talk to me.
forensics is all about attention to detail and how outside forces would have impacted and made the results you're seeing. So being able to reverse engineer those and make something look like the outside forces that would have caused it to happen would be implied knowledge for somebody who's good in forensics.
Okay, that's not bad. Let me check something, though, real quick here.
Emily being able to bullshit her way into skill rolls brought to you by being a child,
Right.
Steve. That's a skill I get directly from you. You know that, right?
Yeah. I'll allow it. I was just trying to figure out, she's got a 60 in forensics, but she also has a 60 in biology. Biology makes sense. Why would she pick forensics? And then it dawned on me.
There's no biology to a mannequin. It's all plastic.
Oh, no, I thought you were trying to get a check mark.
No. No, actually, because I'm hoping not to fail.
Okay.
That's fair. In, I don't know what they call the Spec Ops version of basic, because I know they go to basic and then they have a second.
Survival training, yeah.
We had survival training, and one of the things that we were required to learn how to do is make lifelike representations of ourselves to either decoy or confuse anybody who may be pursuing us and the chance that we are behind Emily lines. Enemy lines.
Nice.
Behind enemy lines and are trying to make our way to someplace safe.
Yeah, it sounds like the self-aid and mannequin care segment of that training.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's a thing called self-aid and buddy care. It's a segment you have to go through in training right after basic. But self-aid and mannequin care sounds cool.
Way cooler.
All right, so that's the skill you'd like to use? All right, give me your rolls. You will be making a mannequin.
Will it look like
you will make a
child?
thing.
I rolled a 42 against a 60.
I rolled a 10 against a 50.
Okay. You guys are generally pleased with the fact that from a distance, and maybe even kind of close up until you decided to pull the blankets back, somebody could believe that this was a 6-year-old child bundled up.
Okay. So
There's a little squawk in your ear.
Just hers or mine too?
Both of yours. This is Jace.
This is Scotch. Over.
It's Jace. Hey, look, I just got where the parents are at the entrance to Yosemite Park. I think we've already told you this. They're being held up because of the weather. Well, I'm looking at the radar scans, and there's a chance this weather is going to pass in the next hour or so, in which case the rangers at the front may have a hard time keeping these parents from moving forward. Just wanted to give you a heads up.
Copy. Over and out.
Alertness.
Alertness. 52 on a 50.
60 on an 80.
You notice that it does look like the rain, which is still falling pretty hard, is not near what it was a little while ago. I mean, it's still the kind if you had a 5-yard walk to your car without an umbrella, you'd be drenched before you got to your car. But it is not that driving, you can't see 5 feet in front of you rain that was happening just a little while ago.
Rain's letting up. Do you want to try to get them in here, or would you rather take the mannequin out there?
I don't know. In my head, it makes more sense to have it done out there where there's less civilians nearby, but it also makes sense that they are fully well aware that the child is in this room. And unless we give them a good reason why we'd move the child outside.
Well, their good reason is that they're going to keep bothering us until we give it, so we may as well give it. They are expecting us to give this child, otherwise they wouldn't keep trying to send people in here. And I don't know that they can come in here, because if they could, why haven't they? Why do they keep taking possession of people and sending them in to tell us to bring the child out?
It's possible. So, I think one of us should go stage this outside, and the other one move the child. Move real Brandon out of this room.
All right, which would you rather?
I'll move Brandon.
Okay. So I'm going to take our mannequin and get it ready, and I am going to make a loop with a slip knot with the rope, and I'm going to attach it somehow to me. I don't know if I have like a carabiner or something. You can put it through a belt loop, or...
You probably grabbed a few of those when you were rooting around for supplies in the closet storage area.
I'm somehow going to carry it out, and I'm going to slide the smoke grenade into a easy pocket for me to be able to get a hold of and get ready to walk outside.
I thought about screwing with you really bad, like, because they provided you with a suit, right? And I know from experience that when you buy a suit, there's those little flaps for the
Where they're stitched shut.
They're stitched shut, and like if you want to use them, you have to like get your finger in and break all the threads. But I'm not going to screw with you like that. You're able to put it on there. So you've walked out onto the porch.
I'm going to wait until she finishes moving the boy.
Okay.
I'm going to wait till he is out of sight.
Okay, he's gone into the hallway towards the front door.
Basically, I want to move Brandon to a different room where I'm the only person who has seen him move. That's including him. I want for only one person in this building to have known access as to where he is.
So there's only one way out of this room.
Right.
Now, Agent Scotch can either be in the room or in the hallway, moving towards the front door. But it's going to be hard to do, right? So on this floor, there is the office room you've been in. On the opposite side is the large common room, right? And kind of behind that is the little closet area where the dude was put in the handcuffs for a little while. And a set of stairs going up. You don't know what the upstairs looks like, but there's about 30 campers up there.
Right. So I guess it'll have to be me and him. I'll move Brandon to the storage closets.
Okay. Are you waking him up to do this, or?
I'm going to attempt to move him without waking him.
Okay. Give me a luck roll. Or, luck's better here.
27.
Okay. So, you scoop him up. He moves a little bit in your arms, as his weight gets readjusted. Probably a point where you wonder if he's going to wake up. When you're getting your kid up off the couch and trying to take him to the room, that's the moment. And as he squirms a little bit, and there's a little, and as he kind of nestles down and to go back to sleep, and as he squirms, like the windows kind of rattle a little bit, and several items on the desk kind of bounce around a little bit, and then he quiets back down, and everything kind of settles down. You're able to take him back there to the storage room, a little closet area. It's pretty big for a closet, like you'd find in an industrial place. How you walk in, there's shelves along the sides, whatever. So that's where you're at.
I'm going to tuck him back down where the mannequin was. I'm not going to cover him up or anything, but I kind of want him not just like...
Well, the mannequin was in the storage room upstairs.
Oh, my apologies. I thought it was in the one downstairs. So I'm just going to try to put him as far back in the room, like not right by the door, but kind of far back, tucked away as best I can, so he's not splayed out in the middle of the floor.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'm going to shut the door and hunker down with my gun out and hope for the best.
All right. What are you doing, Scotch?
Walking out the door.
Okay. So you walk out the door. You're on the covered porch. Give me an alertness.
$54 against an 80.
Okay, so you notice a couple of things. One is a small set of wet footprints over by the window, which would be to your right as you walk out the door, the window that looks into the office. And it's in an area you did not traverse as you came in out of the rain. But as you look out on the yard, and the rain has lightened up some, and but it is considerably darker, as we're probably good at dusk by this time. You see not one but two of the tall, Cthulhu people. You really can make out their features. And what looks like from this distance and with the rain obscuring your vision a little, a pack of dogs is all you can figure.
Okay. I'm going to look at the footprints. Just quickly try to surmise in my brain if I think the footprints are Brandon-sized footprints.
Yes.
Going to cue up my radio and say, Petri, there is a set of footprints out in front of that window where you said you saw the second Brandon, and they look to be about the same size as a Brandon.
I mean, that tracks. I'm guessing they're either are able to...
Just wanted you to have confirmation. There's 2 x-rays and a pack of dogs out here. I'm moving in.
Copy that.
So I'm going to keep walking.
Did you just call them x-rays?
Yes.
I like that.
Why?
Because he's
like
military.
Bogies or you call the bad guys something, and it's usually not the bad guys.
You're a bad man out here. Okay.
And so, what are you doing?
Walking towards them.
Okay. Agent Scott, you're just stepped off the front porch carrying the pseudo child. Agent Petri, you have just dropped the actual child off in the storage room, closed the door, and are heading back towards the front.
Mm-hmm.
And you, Scott, had seen 2 of these strangers out in the field away from you a little bit with what looked like a pack of dogs running around. As you come off the porch, the Jeeps and 4-wheelers are off to your right, opening to your left. Big field in front of you, and that's where you see them. And we are going into dexterity order now.
Mm-hmm.
So, Agent Scott, your dexterity is a 14. You'll be going first. Agent Petri, your dexterity is a 12. You will be going second. The tall strangers will be going third. And whatever that pack of dogs is, will be going fourth. So, what would you like to do? Just the fact that we were in turn order does not necessarily mean that it is combat, but we're at this point where we need to kind of do things in a fashion by which I can keep track of it.
I'm still moving forward. Are they making any moves?
They are not. The little pack of dogs is moving forward.
Are they doing so in a way that dogs would?
It's a little weird. Give me a alertness check. The rain's let up, and you're not that far away, so no minuses here.
An 07 compared to an 80.
Yeah. Okay, at this point, you are stunned to realize that these aren't dogs, but kind of loping towards you in a really strange fashion appear to be the dead and rearranged bodies of young people. Their skin is gray and obviously putrid. There's no expression on their face. I mean, it looks like if a dead body moved. And they're coming at you.
I am going to cue up the radio and just say, "What the fuck?" Over.
And I need a sanity roll from you, please.
The 10 slipped a little bit. And I wish it hadn't because it's 97.
97. All right. Roll me a d6.
I have a D12 too. 2.
All right. Take 2 points of sand loss. You are stopped dead in your tracks, and probably still toggling the earpiece. Just let out a scream of terror. And this is cool. So, when you experience a sand loss, that's all. If you'd lost 5 or more in that turn, it would have been flee, fight, or forget, something like that.
I'm getting really close to the breaking point at this point. So
that you might be. But, so, yeah, your turn immediately ends right there. Stop dead in your tracks. You let out a scream. And, yeah, that's where we'll go. Petri, you're up next.
So I'm going to go back over the radio as I'm walking through. What is it? And I'm going to step out the front door.
Okay. You step out the front door. You notice the rain has lightened up some, and you see just stopped dead in his tracks Agent Scotch. And as your eyes fall upon him and then look past him, you see the same horrors. 4 or 5 of these weird childlike creatures, but they're dead and animated bodies pieced together in weird ways and moving in really strange fashion, but coming forward. I need a sanity roll from you.
A 98.
Give me a d6.
A 4.
Okay, take 4 points of sanity. And that's both of those are unnatural sanity, so there's no boxes to check. It's not violence or helplessness. It's just the unnatural. Yeah, so your turn is going to end right there on the porch. When you see your partner frozen in fear, and then you see why, you stop in fear too. And, you tell me. Is there a scream involved?
I immediately throw up on the porch.
I like that.
It's just so it's disgusting and disturbing that I just turn my head and just...
I'm glad you turned your head. Otherwise, I was going to, have you do a dexterity roll the next turn to see if you slipped in your own puke. No, that's really good. Take inspiration for the role play there. They don't have that mechanic in this game. All right, so that makes it the stranger's turn. So there are 2 of them out there, but in your frozen state, I mean, all you can do is watch them. Your eyes are probably darting back and forth between these creatures, the little ones and the big ones. But you notice one of them kind of make a motion with his hand, and like a log or something from like the campsite that is just off to your right picks up and just comes flying across the field towards you, and comes hurtling straight for you, and it smacks you out of your stupor, and you take 2 hit points of damage. One second, I have to keep track of something for these guys.
Yeah. You keep finding more ways to kill us. You do that. Take all the time you need.
The second guy reaches down into like a pouch in his loincloth. There's a sack in his
There's a
loincloth.
sack in his loincloth.
And he's fingering it. And, you can't see what he pulls out, but he just tosses it onto the ground.
He also has a sausage pack.
Just tosses it onto the ground in front of him. And that is their turn. The little creatures, they are just continuing to advance. They have probably now closed the distance halfway to you guys.
What would that distance be in meters?
30.
Okay.
So, back to you, Agent Scotch. You're in full control of your faculties now. You're able to shake off the sight.
How far am I from the porch?
10 meters.
Okay. I am going to set down the faux child very carefully, as if it were a real child, because I am back in control of my faculties, and that would be a thing I would think about, acting out the part. And I am going to raise up my hands and sort of make a motion like, okay, he's yours. And I'm going to walk backwards around and get onto the porch and try to find the best place that could serve as cover.
There's a railing around the porch, which is kind of picket, but I'll let you, in this turn, have placed the body carefully on the ground and then backed up to where you're now on the steps of the porch, maybe another step or two up to get actually onto the porch itself.
Okay.
Agent Petri, you have just seen a piece of firewood come flying from the campsite and hit Agent Scotch in the side. The dog-like baby creatures are advancing. It's your turn.
I'm going to move up to the railing, and I'm going to have my gun out, but I'm going to keep my hands down. I don't want to be like in an offensive, I want to be just ready, and I'm going to hold there.
Okay. And so then the small creatures, they're going to, let me check their movement. All right, so they're going to move forward, and they are like almost to, like within 5 or 10 meters of the baby thing, the fake child that you guys have made.
The mannequin.
Winner. Actually, I did them out of turn. Should have been the strangers first. So, first stranger. John, make me a sanity roll.
60. It's not a good one.
Okay. So you feel that same pressure of something trying to get into your brain, and you try to fight it off, but it actually slips in, and you don't know how you can tell, but it's like it now has access to all your memories and all your thoughts, and it's like it's searching and then finds the thought, I hope they believe that's a kid. And then it's out of your head.
Damn it.
The second one is then going to...
Hold on. Do I take damage?
That's a good question. Let me check.
John, the rules arbitrator.
You do lose some sand by having your mind taken over for a minute. Roll is D6.
That's a 4. That puts me 1 over the breaking point.
Okay, so take the 4 points sanity. Make a note on your character sheet that you are going to have a... What's the word? Emily, what's the word?
Mental disorder?
Effect?
A
Hindrance?
disorder. You're going to have a disorder. And we will work out what that's going to be. But tell me how that felt, what it looked like, to have that just happen to you.
So he's been very intent on having this play out a certain way because he's trying to lure them in, and right then he knows it's not going to work, and he's trying to come up with, okay, what do we do now, and nothing is really sticking with him. And then the thought occurs to him, even if I thought of something, the fucker would already know what I'm going to do anyway. And he's just very angry right now and doesn't know what to do.
Fair enough. But you do know that, similar to how you could feel it entering your mind, you felt it left your mind right after it found the thought that it was looking for. All right. The second guy... he is going to find a stone or something like that. It just picks up from the ground and comes flying at you, Emily. Should have given you an opportunity to do this last time.
Dodge?
Yeah, but there's really nothing... You're still at the porch.
Yeah,
all right,
by the railing.
I will give you a dodge roll. However, if you take the dodge roll, that becomes your action. I'm sorry, you've already had an action this turn.
So it's going to hit me.
Yeah.
Epic. Or it's going to try.
He missed.
Nice.
Rolled a 93. So this stone goes whizzing past you and bangs into the door of the thing. So that takes us back to the top of the round. It is now your turn. You know something just kind of broke in you, but you're still in control of yourself right now. But that was not a pleasant experience. So
I'm going to go up the stairs, and on my way up, I'm going to tell Petri, they know it's not real, fall back. And I am going to pop on the inside of the door and use the door frame to prop my gun so that when I shoot, it won't have as much recoil. And
okay.
I'm going to hold there.
Right, so you'll be taking essentially the aim action. You used your movement and then an aim action, which is going to give you a bonus for your shot next turn. Petri.
So I'm going to watch him kind of go in and shit. And I'm going to dart into the building with him. I'm not going to stay in the door frame. I'm going to move to like the next piece of furniture back, but still looking out the door.
Yeah, so that's the entryway. There is no furniture there. As you back up from the doorway, to your left would be the common room. To your right now, since you're facing out the doorway, would be the small hallway and the office with a window looking out the front.
Then I will just move further back from him, maybe 5-10 feet back, and just so we're not both in the doorway, we're kind of staggered back from each other, but aiming out the door.
Okay, and also, you see where the one creature reached into his sack and pulled out something and tossed it on the ground. You see something grow there. It's probably 3 foot tall now. Vaguely humanoid shape. But, yeah.
Then I would specifically, while I'm looking out the door, be aiming at whatever is growing on the lawn.
Okay. So, Scotch, you moved back and are taking the aim action. You've moved back and are also taking the aim action. But your aim is at whatever this new growy thing is. Okay. I think the strangers then are going to... All right, a piece of wood or something raises up off the ground and comes hurtling towards the door. Comes past Agent Scotch and is coming right at you. Is 1 point of damage as it hits you. So in this game, you get one action. If you take certain actions on your turn, they turn into kind of defensive options on your other later in the round if somebody attacks you. And if you take like a dodge action before it gets to your turn, that becomes your action on your turn, but it dodges all things coming at you. And,
right.
So the actions you guys took were aim actions, which didn't have any kind of defensive capabilities to them. So you did not get the opportunity to do anything. So
they're trying to get into my mind again.
The 4 or 5 small creatures, they have just swarmed over the fake body. And you see pieces of cloth and CPR dummy arm go flying, and they are a little engaged with that now. Apparently, they are not aware, but the tall strangers are aware that it's a fake. They're essentially aware now. But
can I hear anything over my walkie?
Yes. Yeah, it's just terrible. Just gnashing of teeth and grunting and chewing and ripping. And
I was just trying to figure out if there was any talking coming from the little undead baby things.
No.
Okay.
So, Scotch, that makes it your turn.
Gonna hold.
Okay. Not taking a shot.
How far are they?
So if you took an aim action, if you don't take a shot with this, then at the end of the turn you lose the bonus from that aim. Now, this turn, you could take the aim action again, and it would apply to the next one. The little creatures are probably about 30 meters away. Maybe a little less because they had to come a little further to get to that thing. So let's say 20. And the tall guys are about 50 away from me.
Gonna hold.
Okay. Going to take the aim action again?
Yep.
Okay. Petri.
What do I see as I'm aiming at the growing thing?
You see it continuing to grow. It is probably 4 or 5 feet tall now. It looks like a mass of corded muscle and flesh with big, wide eyes, like, I don't know, like silver dollars. And I need you to make a sanity check, please.
12.
Take 1 point of sanity. It is just continuing to grow, though. Probably by the end of this turn, it'll be as big as a man.
Do I lose my action?
From the no, you still right now. All you're doing is watching. You freaked out a little bit. You had an aim going, so if you wanted to,
Yeah. In response to my freak out, I'm going to attempt to fire on the growing thing. I don't think I'll be able to, given that the range on my gun is 15 meters. But
no, there's just a small what's the word I'm looking for?
Negative.
Yeah,
penalty.
for being okay. So the aim is going to give you 20% to your shot. And the penalty for beyond your base range is 20%. So those two are going to cancel each other out, and it's just a normal shot.
All right, my firearms is a 60. Triple zeros, that's a 100, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 0?
No, that's 100, and that is a fumble.
No.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I probably just shot you.
Roll me a luck roll.
An 80.
I'm 80.
I am 80.
Yeah, your gun just jammed. It's going to take you a turn to clear it.
Shit.
So if you want to use the gun next turn, it's going to be just trying to get that stuck cartridge out of the chamber.
At least I didn't shoot Scotch.
So the two tall strangers are moving forward, and I think one of them Petri, make a sanity roll.
A 55 versus a 58.
You feel that persistent something trying to get into your head again. But I don't know if it was the heightened adrenaline from the sanity scare you just got from that thing that's growing out there or what, but you were able to push it back. They've moved closer now. They are kind of at where the manakid was at, and the dog-like child zombies are advancing on the porch. And they're getting close, so probably next turn they could be on the porch and doing stuff. Stuff. So, back to the top of the round. Sherman.
So you said
Mr. Scotch.
they're not quite on the porch yet.
Yeah, probably about 10 yards still away. 10 meters still away.
But their frenzy on the doll has ended.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, just debris field out there where the doll used to be.
So they're 10 meters away from me?
Mm-hmm.
I'll take a shot now.
Okay. 20% bonus.
That is a 44
Before your bonus.
before my bonus.
I'm sorry.
Does the critical success being doubled...
Oh, that's right. It's a crit.
Does that change with a 20 bonus?
Nope. You still get that.
Well, it's a 44 against a 60. So...
Yeah. Let me find that roll again, because I think... Okay, roll your damage. And double it.
Gonna use one of the
You can
dice
either
that's-
double the damage or roll 2 damage dice. I don't care which.
I'm gonna double.
You just rolled 10? It's a 0, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was making sure because the font's weird, but that is a 10.
So 20.
Okay. So
Blow it up.
yeah, what kind of weapon do you have?
Smith & Wesson 40 cal.
Yeah, it just blew a hole right through this already dead creature, and he goes flying backwards. Pieces of it going all kind of ways. Make me a sanity check.
It's crazy how good he is.
34, so finally. That one's good. 34 against the 39. So
Okay. No sand loss, but you also don't get to check a violence box.
womp womp.
That'd be
That's
cool.
true.
But now that they're closer, you can tell there were 4 of them. There are 3 more of these things. So, good shot.
Hell of a good shot.
Yeah.
You'd think you would already be adapted to the violence.
I almost did that. That I was reading his character. You know, it's combat, search, and rescue. It could be, but I decided it'd be funner to earn it.
Oh, no, 100%. I just thought about it.
There is a adapted to violence starting thing you can take, but to take it, then you automatically drop 5 off of your starting willpower and sand. And I was
You've obviously been through
it'd
some
be
stuff.
easier to just build up to this thing instead of making you do that at the beginning. But the first game I ever played, we started with, you had one of those, and I had adapted to violence, so my starting sanity was lower. All right, that makes it Peter's turn,
Yes.
and you have a jammed gun.
Yes, I do. So it's unjamming it like my action, and I could still make movement.
Yeah,
So
I'll let you unjam while moving.
I'm going to, as I'm like crouching and kind of walking backwards towards the back of the hallway, I'm going to unjam my gun. And I'm just going to try to move like maybe 10, 15 feet back. I want to put less distance between me and
Going
the
straight back.
Yes.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out, because, behind, the office was to your right, the common room was to your left, the stairs, and then that little storage room was right behind you. I'm just trying to figure out which way you're going. It doesn't mean anything.
You said it in the same tone of voice so you just touch it.
Right.
With your hand.
Sure?
It was just the same tone, and I was like, maybe not. I just want to kind of close the distance between me and the closet that Brandon's in. I want to kind of close that distance. I don't want to be like right on top of it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You do notice as you're doing this that thing seems to have stopped growing. But it's about the size of a compact car now.
Epic. Love it.
Yeah. Which begs the question, where does he come in the turn order?
Preferably not for 3 more rounds. I gotta start developing characters that are better with weapons. All around, in every game I play.
All right. The strangers, are kind of staying back at that area where the mannequin was, and can't tell that they're doing anything. Now the feral undead, they are going to advance on the porch. So, when I say they're about 10 meters off the porch, so they come up and they're on the porch, which is now probably 5 or 10 feet from you. 2 of the 3 came up over the picket railing, right, kind of clawing their way up and coming over top of one. Kind of came up the stairs, but they're too small to walk up the stairs. It's more of this, what was that weird backward walking thing? Was
Crab
it the
walking?
Ring?
The Grudge.
Yeah, it's something like that, just coming up over. So there's 3 of these undead zombie children, 2 coming over the rail, 1 coming in, and they are in point blank range from you. And that's as far as their movement has gotten them. The thing out there, it starts moving, and it's 30 yards away. It starts moving towards the porch, and it's pretty big and lumbering, but it's almost like in the Marvel movies, the Hulk run. It takes a while to get
Right.
to have the steam going, but he's picking up steam. That brings us back to the top of the round. Both of you make an alertness. There's a lot of shit going on. Give me an alertness roll.
43 against an 80.
81 against a 50.
Well, this is awkward. You're clueless. Maybe your eyes are just stuck on this thing that's now the size of a car, and you see that it starts coming this way.
And she sees that, and she doubles down on trying to unjam her weapon because she's just in the finishing stages of that.
Yes. And you don't see anything, but you hear from behind you the sound that just experiences told you. You know how throwing a door open and it hits the wall sounds? It's different than what a door sounds like slamming.
Yes.
You hear the sound of a door being thrown open and slamming from behind you. You are so intent on what you're doing, and all the other sounds are going around. You don't notice that sound just came from behind you. You probably don't even recognize. You're not even distinguishing between all the different sounds right now. You are hyper focused on getting this gun to work.
Great. Love it. Ruh-roh Raggy.
Okay. So, top it around. There are 3 little zombie kids right in front of you.
What happened to the keys to the Jeep? I never said I put them up anywhere, did I?
You've got the keys to the Jeep.
I am going to pull out my smoke grenade. When I'm picturing this, I'm seeing a porch, and then off to the right, if you were in the house, off to the right would be where I dropped the fake Brandon, and then further on would be the Jeeps. Is that correct?
Yeah, that could be it. The way I was picturing it was come out in the front door and then straight out into the yard is where you dropped Brandon, and the Jeeps were off to the right.
Okay, that works fine too. I'm going to put the smoke grenade to the best of my ability.
Next time we play this, I think we'll pull up roll 20 just to see, because like right now, position could be important. Huh?
Yeah. It could with this kind of combat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try to position it between the doll where you said the 2 guys were hovering.
What are you trying to position? I'm sorry.
The smoke grenade.
Gotcha.
Like where I'm aiming it for, between the doll and the Jeep.
Gotcha.
Not even necessarily like halfway between, just somewhere in between. And I'm going to try to throw it out there.
Okay. Yeah, don't even need a roll from you. Hold on, I was looking at her numbers. Yep, don't even need a roll from you.
Good to know I can throw grenades.
Well, actually, you have to be trained in some things, even if they're not skills. And we're just going to make the assumption, even if it's not on a sheet, because of his profession.
He can throw a grenade. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
If I could roll demolitions, it would be like a frag grenade kind of, but that's still up pretty high.
Yeah, I was just checking your dexterity, and it's high enough that, I mean, you're not looking to pinpoint it in an exact spot. It's like over in that area, and you could pull off that with a dexterity of 14, which would give you a 70 to roll against. No, you can put it out there.
So I've done the one thing. I want to tell you what else is in his mind. And then wherever you would like to chop that up as being a turn.
Okay.
So
generally speaking, you get a little bit of movement and you get 1 action. So, but talk to me.
I would like to slam the door and then move towards the office window. And while I'm moving towards the office window, I'm flipping this blazer around, and I'm going to try to dive through the office window and make a beeline for the Jeep.
Okay.
It's pretty badass.
It is pretty badass. I like where this is going. So I'm going to give you the action of throwing the grenade. First, before we move on, tell me what that looks like. What are you seeing in your head just happened out there with the grenade? And
well, I'm seeing these 3 little things, and I see something big off in the distance. I haven't apparently been noticing it the way she has, but it's big enough I can tell.
There's this shape, and it's coming for you, and it's bigger than those other things. But you haven't, like, her concentration was on it. So, no, you haven't looked at it and can tell it's got big silver dollar eyes or something like that, but you know it's there.
And I know it's big, and I know right now, even with one of the little things being down, we are heavily outnumbered, and we need a bigger win than my little pistol can provide. So I am going to try to mask what I'm going to try to do by throwing out that smoke grenade. And it works like a charm. And the hiss comes from it, and the smoke billows out, and the creatures are still fixated on the door, but between them and the Jeep, there is just no visibility. So I'm pretty certain that that part of my plan has worked.
Yeah, the smoke grenade went off like a charm. It's got a pretty big area. It's probably even affecting the larger creature's view of at least some of the ranger station, right? Probably from their vantage point, they can still see pretty well the right side from their vantage point, but the left side is where the smoke grenade went off, and it has probably covered half the porch, maybe even closer to the door, right? You're feeling particularly lucky / glad that the rain has let up as much as it has, because you feel like in that heavy rain, it would have just pushed all of that smoke down. But It is billowing out. Probably would have gotten a bigger effect if it had just been a nice calm day, but it has created the obfuscation you were looking for. I'm not even sure I used that correctly, but it sounded great.
So good.
And I will let you slam the door and begin your movement into the office, but then I think that's really about as much as your turn will allow.
That's more than fair, I feel.
He's got a whole action montage in his turn. Tucks and rolls.
So we're going to pull the montages from Savage Worlds and just mix up all our favorite
They would be a good
parts
addition
of
to
every
this game.
System.
There's no reason why I can't add that. The whole dramatic sequence thing. I like the way those work. I've seen somebody use it in a different type of game, so I'm glad you mentioned that. I might use that here when we get to the penultimate moment.
Sounds like a good way to kill you.
It does. It sounds like a great way to kill you guys. Very dramatic.
Right. It is your turn. Yes. Your gun is unjammed. Right. You're able to get the bullet that was a little cocked in there out, slide back and chambered another round. You are good to go. All of that happened last turn. Yeah, what would you like to do?
So after finishing on the gun, I am going to instinctively come back up and assess.
And you see a slammed shut door and your buddy heading towards the office.
Do I notice any other? No.
Nope. You can hear the weird scratchy movement of the zombie kids.
That's so lifelike.
So unlifelike.
So I'm going to probably maintain my position because I don't know what he's doing, but I am trying to cover the door.
All right, so you're going to take the aim action at the door, and if somebody comes in, you'll get a 20% bonus on your shot to level them.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Don't you hate when meta-knowledge is like, do the thing, but you're like, the player's got no reason.
Yeah, you did not hear the door.
I didn't hear shit.
Open behind you. All right, that makes it the stranger's turn, and I think they're not liking recent developments. So what will they do about that?
Say, all's well that ends well and go home.
Let's pack it in, boys. These guys are too much for us. You see that foggy shit? I'm out.
They can control the weather too. Shit.
All right. Fuck. Yeah, you don't know what those guys did. All right. They... Yeah, they are. The zombie kids are just like banging against the door and the side of the building. They're scratching on it. They have 0 intelligence. So I can't even get them to open the door.
They're just like
mindlessly slamming into the door. And
it's like when a small child has 2 pieces of something they won't fit together, and they're just like, I can't. It's like, use your eyes.
Right. So, the huge thing with the stone face and the silver dollar eyes that you can't see right now, but you can definitely hear and probably feel the vibrations through the ground. And then just this large swat and the splintering of wood is like posts on the porch get smashed. And then the next person to go, little Brandon McGill.
No.
He comes up beside you, puts his arm around your leg, like he's holding on to you. And you look down and you just see sheer terror and fright in his eyes, and he's shaking and his face starts getting red. And then, cinematically, it'd be like this wind burst from him right at the door. And we'll see how this plays out. Blast the door out, and you see the 3 zombie kids flying away from the door, and the door probably comes and then smacks up against the big hulking thing, glances off of them. The 3 zombie kids, like probably 20 or 30 feet out. This is how much force just came from Brandon. Just blast them out there. They smash onto the ground, broken, and just crumpled in ways that doesn't look they're going to get up and move away from. And they are just out of there. The door did hit off of the big thing. And let me check something real quick. Oof. 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 You can tell that the door, with the force at which it bounced off of that thing, did some damage to it. It did not stop him, and it did not do to it what it just did to those zombie kids.
All right.
Did it knock him back any?
Make a luck roll. This dude's pretty beefy.
A 0-1.
Okay. That is a critical success, but I don't think those apply on luck rolls. But I'm going to say it did stagger him back a few steps. But a few steps for him is like 10 yards. Like,
yeah.
The Hellcat missile fired from the F-16 just rocked the Hulk back a little bit. Right. So that takes us back to the beginning of the round. You were right there in the hallway. You got enough movement to get to the window that you were talking about. You're just inside the door, a few feet from the door. So,
What kind of windows are these?
just standard cheap government windows, slide up from the bottom, latch on the bottom, 4 panes,
So
single paned.
the middle of it where the 2 windows meet, I am leading at that point with my foot and putting all of my strength into knocking those beefier bars out, so that basically what I'm going through is the small pane dividers and glass.
Yeah, I mean, you probably suspect that it's not even 4 panes of glass. It's like a single pane of glass, and it just has like little wood
Glue on, tack on.
strips there. So the wood's probably not going to provide much of a deterrence to what you're going to do. So let me see what's a good... The only reason I'm going to make you roll for this is because time and consequences are kind of at play here.
It's too bad we don't have stunt like in Backwater.
Yeah, that would be a really good one.
That would be a good addition. A stunt roll. We're going to end up with the weirdest amalgamation of a game.
Right.
Like, we're just going to cherry pick.
Do me an unarmed combat, but I'm going to give you a 20% bonus because your opponent has 0 agility.
88. Critical fail.
88, because that would have been... I gave you 20, so you had to get under 80. You just barely... critical fail. Okay, so give me a luck roll.
$91.
All right, so you were like, were you just trying to kick it out, or like you trying to go out but leading with your feet?
I was trying to go out and leading with my feet, but the leading with my feet took the form of a kick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I do. So the window shatters and you go out, but as you go out, a large piece of glass just like slices into your thigh. Give me a D6 of damage.
Hey, but at least you get to check off unarmed combat because you failed it.
That's right.
5.
Oof. Ouch. Yeah, 5 points of damage there, bud.
And we are very mortal.
I feel like that was a fair...
No. He achieved it because there was no definitive hindrance of him being able to do it. It was just
It wasn't like the window was just going to go... Thunk. Nope, it didn't break.
Yeah, no.
Probably a 200-pound man. It was going to break, so I had to find some other way for it to be the fumble.
So...
Because he still achieved it, but there was a huge fail point in that he didn't account for the shards
And you
of
were
glass.
prone on the ground. Breeding profusely. You are bleeding.
Breeding profusely.
Call sign rabbit.
It's the weekend. I'm trying to have me a little fun, you know?
So, do you got medicine?
I do. Or no, it's
You have
not
first
medicine. I have first aid.
Okay. And you got a pretty high first aid. You look down and you're immediately concerned about femoral artery. Like, am I just seeing a bunch of blood because it was a really long gash, or
Did I
just hit the bad one?
Okay.
How bad would it be to die from the window? All this?
It would be epic. Agent Petri, you're up.
So, in the moments leading up to it, Petrie's like looking and figuring out Brandon is angry, scared, lashing out at the people who are trying to take him again, and she's gonna attempt to feed into that and although she doesn't feel great about it, keep him ramped up because right now he is the heaviest hitting weapon that we have. So I'm going to like reach over and kind of like grab his shoulder and be like, they're coming to take you away and we have to stop them. You have to help us stop them. Your parents are going to be here any minute. We have to protect your parents. Like I'm going to just start telling him all these things to really just ramp up that anger and fear so he just continues to lash out.
Ramping up the anger and fear in a 6-year-old.
Yes. I'm not proud of it.
He is clutched onto your leg.
I hope you pass these rolls.
Me too.
All right, tell me how you're doing this. This is important. Right? So, what are you just telling him? You know what you just said, that you need his help to get out of this.
Yeah, and I imagine my voice comes out very kind of broken and scared because I am, and you know I'm not trying to like manipulate him, but I want him to know that it's not like I'm not like yelling at him like do the thing. It's like, I need you right now. Like you have to help us. Like you have the ability to help us. You could be a hero kind of thing, trying to reach that part of his brain that's like, well, I want to help too.
Okay, roll me an alertness. Oh no, or human. Your choice.
Alertness. A 94.
Okay. He is just clutching your leg and shivering and like hiding his face in your body.
Okay. So I can tell he's probably not going to be swayed by my words, if at all. He's a terrified little boy.
He looks up at you and says, "How can I help? I'm just a kid." And it dawns on you at that point, he has no idea what he just caused, or that that happened. He isn't currently unaware he caused it to happen. He is just a scared kid who ran to the friendliest face and the nicest person that's been to him and grabbed onto you and reacted in fear. It was not a conscious choice to make that attack against the door. You might surmise he is clueless about it.
Okay. So then I'm just...
So I can't...
yeah.
We're in turn order, so I can't allow any more
No.
dialogue to go on here.
dialogue.
But if you have a movement or an action you'd like to take, I will call the dialogue and the observation of him just a free action.
I'm gonna fire a shot at the big guy.
Okay. You do not have an aiming bonus. He has moved closer, then we're back about 10. So I'm going to say he was close enough to knock out one of the posts on the thing, and then the door knocked him back. I said about 10 meters, so we're going to say he's about 20 meters away.
Okay. So it's a little out of my range of 15 meters.
Well, if you wanted, you could move a little farther up in this hallway and take the shot normal. But it'll put you closer to the door and outside, like right at the door threshold, to take the shot without a penalty.
Does how big he is factor into this at all?
That's a really great question. I sometimes really hate when you come up with this good shit.
Because if he's giant,
I
he's
think
just
it
taking up
does.
the entirety of the doorway. It's like hard to miss him. The rules arbitrator.
At least I do it for both sides.
No, that's the rules arbitrator. You're not a rules lawyer who only tries to do it when it's good for you. You're an arbitrator because you do it when it's bad for you too. Like earlier, should I have taken damage from that sanity roll?
That one I was fairly sure of. This one, not knowing the system very well, it's very possible that it's not something it accounts for.
It's true.
But it is something I was thinking about.
So I'm not seeing it in here, but I like it. It is very, very large, so I'll give you a 20% bonus. And I'm not arbitrarily picking these things out to make them cancel out. Generally speaking, these rules, something that's a little bit hard to do gets a 20% or minus or plus. Or if it's really difficult or really good, it's 40, 20 and 40.
Right.
You can do in-betweens, but generally speaking, it just recommends you do 20s and 40s. So I give you a 20% bonus because of the size. If you don't want to move closer to the door, it's a 20% penalty because of the distance. So you'll be rolling straight.
I will not move closer to the door. I'll roll straight. So my firearms is a 60%. I rolled a 1.
That's the second roll tonight. Somebody's rolled. Well, no, I rolled a 44, didn't I?
Yeah.
You rolled a 1 on a left.
You also
roll.
rolled an 88, but that's the fumble, not a. So, critical roll on an attack means you double the damage. I'll either let you roll 2 dice or roll 1 dice and double it. Your choice.
I am going to roll 2 d10s. An 8 and a 2, so a total of 10. I mean, an average of 10.
Mm-hmm.
And I like how your dice was the one that failed me.
And I like how you rolled 2 d12s.
Are they d12s? Okay, but we all know d10s are the hardest ones to figure out.
Yes.
That's
you just
my
had
apology.
one in your hand earlier when you
Look,
rolled.
shut up. I'm sorry. I apologize. Well, fuck nuggets.
What's it come out to?
5.
What was it the first time?
A 10. Keep your shitty dice.
Okay, well, you see the shot hit and the splatter of some kind of ichor, right? It's just this corded muscle and sinew body of his. Can't really say it's like the mist of blood, but it's weird. But
Goo.
splat. You saw the splat. And that makes it the stranger's turn. There is footsteps on the stairs coming down fast.
Shit. I forgot about all the other campers.
The little feral zombie kids are gone. It makes it the thing's turn. So, big cloud, blasted open doorway, you and a child hugging you. He's coming for the doorway.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he comes up and he starts having to move some of the debris. By the way, you notice that the ceiling on that end of the porch is sagging from where he blasted out the support post there. So he's ripping that stuff away. And I believe that yanking and pulling of all that stuff away has got to account for his entire action. It's like, I'm going to let you guys do one thing, going to let him, but he is standing right there on the porch. Probably his foot came down and like just splintered the wooden steps and boards, but he is right there at the door, which takes us to okay. So Brandon just looks up from your leg at the sounds of everything coming to there, and he just squints his eyes real tight, real shut, hugs even harder into you, and then just that pressurized air force energy just comes out from him in all directions. And let's see here. You can see the force hit that guy, the thing, but it doesn't knock him back, doesn't seem to do much to him other than just go past him. You can see it pushing the wood debris out further into the field. But you hear the footsteps on the stairs behind you stop, and then you just hear like a boom. Takes a stop around. You're out on the front porch. You're on the ground. Your thigh is bleeding. There is this hulking thing destroying the porch and trying to get into the front door. You can see that it's a little wounded. To the west, which, depending on how you're laying, wouldn't even try to figure out left and right here, but to the west is the fog cloud that you know behind there is 2 Jeeps, 4-wheelers. You probably can't even see the strangers now, the really tall, thin guys, because of the smoke grenade.
I am making my way to the Jeep as fast as I can hobble.
Okay. So you're going to have to go over the railing. So give me a agility check. Do they call it agility in this thing? What is it? Dexterity. You can do me a dexterity at a -20. Unless there's a skill you think would be appropriate, and I'll listen to arguments about that.
99.
God.
All right, so you get there and you try to, as dexterously as possible, roll yourself over, but when it gets to the ground, there's the strength in your leg is gone, and it's just, you can't stick this landing. You just crumple onto the ground. Give me a D4 of damage.
It's a 3.
Okay. And you're prone on the ground again.
Okay.
And that makes Petri's turn.
I'm going to turn and look up the stairwell.
You see at the top of the landing a camper, backpacker, on his ass up against the far wall, shaking his head and looking around with that "how the hell did I get here" look on his face. You probably also hear some screaming and crying coming from upstairs.
I'm going to shout out for the ranger to man the stairs. And then I am going to grab Brandon, like by the shirt, and kind of roll him off of me and into the doorway of the office.
Okay, so you're going to stay in front of the front door, and you're pushing him towards the office.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to take my shot at the big boy.
Do it.
Make sure I roll the right dice this time. A 73. So that's a fail.
Okay, yeah. So, tell me how that looked.
Well, do I still get the...
20% for him being huge, yep.
So it would actually be a 53, which is a success.
All right, because he's close enough that you didn't have the distance penalty anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, roll some damage.
Hell yeah. With the correct dice. A D10. A 6.
Yeah, that blast hits him like center mass, and he sways back, and you can... There's really no expressions on his face or whatever, but you can just tell by the way he's moving that he's hurting.
Okay.
All right, that makes it the stranger's turn. Make me a alertness roll.
A 92.
Okay.
Big old failure.
Yeah. You really can't see past the big guy to see what the strangers are doing out there. And that makes it the big guy's turn. And so he is going to reach through the door and attempt to grab you.
Raggy.
And his hand comes through the door and tries to grab you. It like catches on some of the splintered wood or whatever and it kind of snags. So it like this huge hand just like right in front of your face. It goes like slowed down enough. He's got a huge arm, right? Trying to get it through. This thing is essentially the size of a Toyota Camry, right?
Right.
All in all, right. So he's not coming through a door. He'd have to bust his way through it. So reaching through it. Apparently his arm just kind of grazed the side. So Brandon has been tossed towards, I'm sure gently encouraged towards the office. He just throws himself on the ground, covers his face, and starts kicking and screaming. And a pulse of energy comes out from him, but it's just there's just not much to it this time. It's like you could probably see the front wall of the building because it's now been a little bit structurally damaged, bow out a little bit, but not near the force. And then you just see Brandon shut down, like catatonic, like eyes glazed over, not closed, but just.
Right.
And that's where Brandon is at. Top of the round. Bloody thigh laying on the ground guy.
Still trying for the Jeep.
Okay. Going to take at least a bunch of your movement, some of your movement, a piece of your movement, exactly 5 feet till you stand up. So there are 2 Jeeps. Presumably you know which spot you parked your Jeep in, but you still got to find it. So, because this place is covered in
smoke,
fog, right?
I would assume it's something I am used to dealing with.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'll give you the 20 instead of the 40 on the penalty. Well, that's all you're going to do with your turn.
How much will you let me do with my turn?
If all you're going to do with your turn is move towards vehicles and find the Jeep, You know vaguely where they are. You can reach out with your hands and, okay, here's the first Jeep. Mine's the second one. I will let you find the Jeep, but you can't do anything else this turn. Or you can make an alertness roll to find the Jeep at a -20 penalty because of the fog, and then you'd still have an action.
I'll do the alertness roll. Because my rolls have been going really good in this combat.
They have.
Right.
So good.
41, and my alertness is 80.
He pulled it off.
All right, you have found the Jeep, and you still have an action. That was only your movement.
I don't know how this translates into action in this particular system,
Tell me
but
what you want to do, and we'll work it out.
I want to get in the Jeep, crank it up, and fasten my safety belt.
The safety belt.
Safety is important, children.
Okay. Do you have the drive skill? Was there one of those in this game?
There is.
There is.
He's got
I
a
do
20.
not, but it's
Yeah, you
a
got
base 20.
All right. Sure. You are in it. You've started it up, and you have fastened your seatbelt.
Safety belt. At least it
How
was one of
long-
those 5-point harness. Would have taken you 3 rounds to do it.
How long are rounds in this?
It's not like D&D where it says 6 seconds. It says it's a couple of seconds. So.
What I'm wondering about, smoke grenades do not last forever. I'm wondering how long, because there wasn't a statistic on the actual smoke grenade that said lasts for however many seconds.
You got a page number on the smoke grenade?
I do not.
I imagine it would at least last for a minute, and a minute would be several rounds.
I don't think it would last for a minute. Close to a minute. It says 50 to 90 seconds. Not
right.
in
So I'll
the
tell
game,
you this.
but-
You can notice that I think it's a little faster than that because of the rain. So I'm going to say you can notice that it is starting to thin, but it still obscures vision to a degree. Sorry.
Do I notice the strangers when I look into the rearview mirror noticing me?
Give me an alertness roll.
$49 against an 80.
So just through the haze of the smoke, you can see them, and it appears that neither one of them have noticed. Well, you know what? Let's just see. Let's give them an alertness check. As you look in the rearview mirror and you spot them, you notice both of their heads go straight to you.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I don't know why I didn't think about using their alertness before. It's brilliant, Steve.
So smart.
That makes it Petri Dish's turn. Yeah, all your colleagues at work, you thought they named you Petri because, you know, the science of it all, and they all thought they named you that because you're such a dish. Sexist bastards.
Bitches. So
You are a very tasty looking snack, though.
Oh,
Anywho.
that's going to end up on the cutting room floor.
That's better. So I am going to take another shot at big guy.
Do it.
Please don't let me down. Like that, 93.
Yeah.
Nothing.
You remember earlier when she was like, "Oh, you should have some rainbow dice like me."
Yeah.
It's because I'm sullied them with mixing your dice in there.
Yeah, especially
They've become
these.
tainted.
You notice I haven't been using these. Like,
They're the only ones I can read. All the rest of yours have like horrible numbers to read.
that's fair.
All right. It is the stranger's turn. John, make a sanity check.
I can't. I can't make it.
Okay.
You're just like, I can't roll the dice. Incapable.
No, I can roll the dice, but I can't make the check with the dice I rolled.
Oh, did you use 12-sided?
No. I will if that would help. I rolled a 120. Wait, a 1,212. Is that good enough?
That's a failure.
Weirdly.
So, give me no. So you feel that presence into your mind. But unlike the last time, it doesn't appear to be searching through your memories and thoughts. And like, well, what's it doing here? And then you feel your arm move out of your control and reach for the keys and turn the Jeep off. And yeah, I think that's about as much as their turn. They can only occupy your mind for a turn. So that's about as much as they can get out of it. And that's their action.
Okay.
They didn't want to undo his safety belt.
What else you want me to roll?
Damage.
No, you've already lost sanity to this particular thing before. So it's pissing you off. And you know that there's there'll probably be some therapy sessions in your life later. But, so, and the other guy, yeah, that's what he's going to do. The Jeep next to you. You are still not in control of your body, but you can see this. The Jeep next to you just goes, starts moving, and this bam slams up against the Jeep you're in. Kind of like the passenger door cannot be opened on the Jeep you're in, and the driver's door cannot be opened on that Jeep. It just got pushed right up against your Jeep. That makes it the thing's turn. And it is going to try again to reach in and grab the person firing at it.
We should call it the Juggernaut.
Again, it can't seem to get its hands through this doorway. If it would just take a turn to tear up some of the house again, it probably could, but he's not thinking that well. He just keeps trying to jam his hand through there, and he can't seem to get this bulking arm of his through the opening. And again, you probably feel the air, the wind caused by his closing fist. And Brandon is catatonic on the floor. Your turn. The entity has left your brain.
Going to crank the Jeep back up and put it in reverse.
Okay.
And hit the gas pedal.
All right. I don't think there's any, there's side view mirror sticking out, but nothing that's going to stop this from happening. But make me a drive check.
$73. Apparently, I cannot back up a car.
Okay, so as it backs up, it happens. Just that the little circular driveway that is where the entry road ends is your tires get on to it, and it's a little more rutted and worn. You feel the back end slip is looking for some purchase. So tell me, what was your plan? Which way were you going to drive this vehicle?
Backwards.
Because the people behind you.
After you do that, or were you just going to keep going backwards? For those?
Yeah, I could see them in the rearview mirror,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just trying to go straight back.
Okay. Well, then, your back end is slid out a little bit. You're not lined up with them like you were before. You'd have to do some adjustments.
How much did my back end slide?
Slippery back ends.
30 degrees.
Okay, I'm gonna, when it finishes its slide, gonna rip the steering wheel and put it in drive and start going forwards. And slamming on the gas so that hopefully I keep fishtailing a little bit.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that works out on your next turn.
Okay.
Petri.
Taking a shot at the fake board. Because eventually I have to.
How many shots have you taken?
I have been keeping up with it, actually. I need to take one off of my last turn, but I have 11 bullets left.
Cool.
A 15, which is a success. I roll a d10 damage. 9. 9 times.
He is starting to look frazzled. And I don't just mean like, wow, I've had a hard day, but I mean literally frazzled. Like the corded sinew and muscle that makes him up is like snapped in places and hanging off in others. It's not looking good. Yeah. That makes it the stranger's turn. Make sand roll.
$92.
Okay, so as your vehicle is fishtailing, you're about to pull out, and you're making a quick look up into your rear view mirror, your side view mirror is just like, where are those guys at? You can't see them. You can still see the place they were at, but you can't see them.
Okay.
All right, you probably had to look through one of the side view mirrors now because of the 30-degree swish of your tail, but all right, makes it the thing's turn. And if he had more than a 4 intelligence, you'd probably try to make the hole bigger, but he's going to try to reach through there again.
Right.
And get at you. Same effect, right? And actually you can start to see the exposed muscle and sinew that makes up his arm just starting to get like snapping like cords, like the movie trope where there's a rope and like one of the cords. Right. Yeah, so that's what's happening. And every time he shows in, he's doing more damage to his arm, but he just can't seem to get to you. Yeah, one of these days he's going to make that roll, though. And okay, and that makes it Scotch's turn.
So I can't see the guys anymore. So I'm going to go slam on the gas, and instead of trying to aim for them, I'm going straight for the big guy on the porch.
Okay. So give me a drive roll. You have a I'll give you a 20% because of how freaking huge he is.
20 with my 20%.
That's a success.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Are you gonna knock my kill?
There's
How much damage does a car do?
I'm pretty sure there are rules for this.
It's like a table. If it's a Honda, it does 4 points of damage. Jeep 7. A Prius 1.
Sorry.
That's okay.
You can cut this part out later, John.
That's true. If you take my kill, I'm going to be so upset because I had like the, how do you want to do it? Like I have it all planned in my head. And if you steal it from me, I'm going to be so mad. So mad. Not really, because you have nothing else to aim at with your Jeep, but still.
Sorry.
Are you apologizing to us or your vape?
Yes. I am going to reserve the right to do this differently the next time it comes around, but since I don't feel like looking anymore, we're going to say this does not do regular damage, it does lethality damage. You may have noticed in some weapons they don't do 1d12, they have a lethality of 10%, which basically means you roll, and if you get under 10%, whatever you're attacking is dead. It was that lethal. If you get over 10%, then you add the 2 dice together for hit points. So,
Still,
let's say you rolled a 32. So it didn't get the lethality of 10% on your weapon, but you do 32 points of damage to it. So I think a ramming vehicle probably has a lethality rating.
I hope so. That's the whole root of the plan.
So I'm thinking probably in the 30 to 40% range. What do you guys think? Because I'm winging it here.
Well,
I think because he's so big, 20 might be.
I like that. Let's do 20. I think if it was a normal person, 30 or 40 would be right,
But his sheer size, you're having to hit him pretty hard, and John's not going to get a lot of traction.
So 20% lethality. If you roll under 20, the dude is smashed dead. Over 20, add the dice together for your damage.
23.
So 23 points of damage. No. So tell me how that looks.
No!
So
Damn it.
there's still...
This is beautifully cinematic, though, right? You're sitting there plugging away, and this thing's trying to reach you, and then all of a sudden this Jeep comes
out of nowhere. You couldn't even see it because of the smoke cloud. But you just heard the
smoke is rolling off of the Jeep. It's like a trail behind it as it comes blasting out of the...
And it's so wet that it's just swerving around and looking like Brandon was driving it. And it doesn't even hit him straight on.
I like how you're not convincing Dad of what happened. You're convincing me of what happened.
I like that, too.
You're looking directly at me.
I'm trying to make it worse. And it looks as though I had pulled the handbrake because there's so much mud on the top.
Did you clutch it first?
No.
Then it didn't work.
It swings into him and just like parallel parks into his legs.
I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was worth it.
Well, that hulking thing is now obliterated. Jesus.
But he hit it in the leg, so it technically fell back and lands on the Jeep.
Really?
Killing
At
John
this point,
instantly.
Success matters not to you.
No, it's only revenge.
Yeah,
Killing John instantly.
the hulking thing is dead. Give me a luck roll because I believe, how much you did, 23 points to him? I'll have to look it up later, but I believe your Jeep just took 23 points too.
90.
Karma.
The
Instant.
immediately it's like you thought the smoke was clearing. Why is there more smoke? There is smoke billowing up from the radiator of the Jeep. Pretty big dent in the front end. I don't know how it drives. Probably going to be a little wobbly up front if it'll even run. But right now it is still running. But you can see the smoke billowing out of the front end. And that makes it Petri's turn.
So I'll shoot at... Oh, wait, no. I won't shoot at the big guy. Somebody stole my shit. So after seeing a errant Jeep come out of the woodwork and take him out, I'm going to instinctively back myself up away from the impending collision and into the room with Brandon and see the window that is open with blood all over it, and going to move to that window.
Okay. Smoke's cleared a lot. You can see the two things, the strangers out there standing about where they were. I don't know. What's it been? 10, 15 seconds?
Yeah.
Since the last time you saw them? They're still standing out there.
Yeah.
About 50 yards away. There is a wrecked Jeep, a crushed body of this hulking thing. Just past that, you can see the bodies of 4 zombie kids laying broken and shattered on the ground.
I will use my action to take aim at one of the strangers.
Do it. It's a minus 20 because of the distance.
I want to take aim.
I'm sorry. You're taking it. Gotcha. Okay. That makes it the stranger's turn. Stranger number 1 is going to fail to take over the body of a camper. Stranger number 2, on the other hand, as you're looking out the window, you see stranger number 2 reach into his sack and toss something onto the ground.
Rude.
That makes it... Well, he's dead. He's asleep. Makes it your turn there, Agent Scotch.
Gonna put it in reverse. What does it do?
Give me a luck roll.
Do I see the strangers?
Nope.
Nope. Then I wouldn't put it in reverse. I'm gonna get out of the Jeep.
Okay.
And since I don't see the strangers, I'm rolling with the assumption that they have poofed out. I'm going to start doing first aid on my leg.
All right. Give me a first aid roll.
$71 against an 80.
Nice.
All right. 1d4 hit points back from the first aid.
1.
Your dice really don't understand, like, when it should roll high, when it should roll low. Has a very distorted understanding of this game. Did you explain the game to them before you started?
No.
Swear, I just looked over to the screen. I was watching somebody else's stream. I don't know when I inadvertently hit a button over here, but I was watching somebody else. I was like, what happened? All right, so 4 hit points back, and that makes it...
Did you say 4?
1d4, sorry.
Oh, 1.
Oh.
Yeah.
Petri.
All right, I am going to fire at the one who keeps dropping little shits on the ground.
Fair.
So I have a plus 20 for my aim, but a minus 20 for the distance.
That's correct.
So straight shot.
Tis.
60 or better. A 48. That's a hit.
Do you damage?
4.
All right, you see him. It's the shot, I don't know, hits him in the arm or something. It had an effect on him.
Okay. I'm going to hop the window just to get out onto the porch.
Okay.
For my movement.
And poor Brandon is still catatonic on the floor in there.
Probably the safest place for him, honestly. Just knocked out.
Right. All right, so let me check something here. A stone comes, it's lifted up in the air and comes flying towards you. You can make a dodge roll.
Would I see it?
No. Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be funny. I was legitimately...
Oh.
1 point of damage. He hit you with a pebble.
Ah. But it stung, and that's what matters.
Right. And the other one, like a sand roll.
No. Oh, a fail. 67.
All right, so you feel the entity come into your mind, and it is it's searching through your thoughts and your memories, and it's rolling around, and you can almost see and feel your memories flashing through your head, and then boom, this stops on this image of Brandon laying in the hallway, catatonic. And then the entity leaves your mind.
Sanity damage?
Is that the first time they've successfully gotten in your brain?
Tis.
Yep. Roll me 1d6.
6.
All right, take 6 points of damage.
So that puts me at 52, which is exactly equal to my breaking point.
Okay, so
I don't know if it's when you pass it or...
I think it's when you hit it, but I will double check that. But for now, just make a note that you probably have a disorder. And you just took more than 5 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 3 things that can happen in temporary insanity: flee, struggle, or submit. Flee is likely when you're running against unnatural or violence. This is unnatural. Struggle likely when you're going against helplessness and violence. This is helplessness. And submit is common against unnatural and helplessness. So submit, it kind of hits both of those. This is shutting down or passing out from shock. Yeah. The entity, you can feel it leave your mind, and you're staring out at everything, and then your vision starts to blur. Vision kind of becomes tunneled as darkness creeps in from the side, and you collapse on the porch. You are passed out.
Nice. Me and Brandon both.
Yeah. Sleep it off.
Yeah.
Makes it Sherman's turn.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I know that he can't see them because of something that he failed a sanity roll earlier and he can't see them. Does them doing other things, like, to my mind, like concentration almost in other game systems, like, does it affect his ability to see them?
I kind of like that.
I don't know.
I'm going to have them do a luck roll.
Because it feels like if they can only stay in my mind for one round, then that means they have limited mental capacity, to affect you. So.
Yeah. So as you're bandaging up your leg, you see those two guys appear back in the exact spot that they've been, 30 meters away, right around the area where the CPR dummy kid was at.
Did I see her go down?
Yes.
We're not that close. It's fine.
But you guys are both on the porch. One part of the porch is completely destroyed. Well, you're right off the porch, right? You just got out of the Jeep and started doing it. She came through the window on the porch, took a shot, and you probably looked over at her when the gun went off.
Like,
and then you just saw her kind of go like this and then faint.
I'm going to pull myself up and using the Jeep as cover, I'm going to pull my weapon and pop off a shot at the one that seems to be injured.
Okay. Take your shot.
$83.
Is that a miss?
What is my penalty?
No penalty.
Said they were 30 yards? 30 meters?
Yes. What's the range on your gun? 15?
15.
Yeah, so it's 20.
Oh, it was a miss anyway, so.
Well, thanks for making me go through that.
Thanks for doing the math. He wanted to know how bad he missed. He got 103%.
That makes it Petrie's turn. You're in La La Land. Makes it the stranger's turn. They're running out of...
Good.
They're going to spend their turn coming towards... Brandon. You happen to be in the way. Might look like to you that they're coming towards you, but they're moving towards Brandon.
Okay.
And that's going to be their entire turn, which makes it your turn.
Gonna take another shot. 47. That would be a hit unless they're still out of range.
No, they are in range.
Okay.
Kill him.
This is on the injured one?
Yes.
Kill him.
10.
Damn!
Beautiful.
Whew. All right. So your shot hits and he drops to a knee. Whew. And the other guy kind of looks over at him, doesn't reach down to like help him up or anything, just kind of looks at him, and you see the first guy just like muster up a bunch of strength and just stand back upright. So That makes it Petrie's turn.
Still asleep.
Yep. That makes it the stranger's turn. They would really like to make themselves invisible to you, but unfortunately, they're running really, really low on their abilities. So they split up. One goes to one side of you, and one goes to the other, as if they're just going to walk right around you, heading for the door. That makes it your turn.
Well, I know from my extensive military training that letting yourself be flanked is a big no-no. So I am going to do my best to back up to the door.
Okay.
Is it like choppy enough from old boy?
Yeah, I mean, it's like not going up steps to the porch. It's like climbing up rubble to the doorway.
Do you want me to roll on something?
Yeah, give me a dexterity check.
44.
Yours like a 70.
Yeah. So critical success.
Okay. You're in the doorway, facing outward.
I am going to take another shot at the injured one.
Do it.
86. Fail.
Hey.
Okay.
Do I get a bonus for high ground? I'd still fail.
That makes it Petrie's turn. Snoozing. That makes it the stranger's turn. And they both keep walking the way that they are. And one comes up against the wall of the ranger station to the right of the doorway, basically the wall, the common room. And he appears to just walk through the wall. It was like he was there and then he's not. And the other guy does, and he is walking up to the porch, the bit of the porch that's still standing on that side, and he's there, and then he's not. But you just saw in your peripheral vision him standing in the office.
Like by the window that's busted out?
Uh-huh. So it's you, there's a wall, and then the common room. Short hallway, Brandon's fugue state body, and then a stranger 15 feet further into the office. And that is the stranger's turn. Your turn. And the injured one is the one that's in the office.
I'm going to shoot that one. 40.
Okay.
On a 60.
Damage.
1.
Oh, come on.
If this was Savage Worlds, you could spend a penny and get a reroll
Right.
on that.
Where's the bunny systems?
That makes it Petrie's turn, and your eyes flutter, and you find yourself laying on the porch.
Do I have to like spend my whole turn like getting up kind of thing? Or?
I would say, based on the condition and everything, that standing up would be all your movement, but you could still have an action. You are essentially right outside the window. Yeah. You can see a stranger standing in the office, looking towards where you know Brandon's body to be.
Yeah. So I'm going to stand up and do the look around for my surroundings, see them right there, see Brandon's prone body just outside the door, and I'm going to fire a shot.
Well, you probably can't see Brandon, right?
I know
you can see through the window, and you can see a stranger looking that way, and you know Brandon's body's over there, but there's a wall in between. Yeah.
Then I will take a shot at the stranger. I can see the injured one.
Yeah, 1 second. This is essentially point blank range. He just phased past you, but you get up and there's only a couple feet between you, so you have a plus 20% on this attack roll.
I rolled a 13.
It's a hit. 3 damage.
2.
It was your turn to steal the kill back.
It was. My stupid dice.
All right, that makes it by the way, that's when you hit the stranger, the force of the shot pushes him into like the desk that's over there, and he kind of falls onto the desk, and is still there, but you can see that he is still moving.
Right.
But currently is prone on the desk. He is going to start to stand up, pull himself up off the desk. Very, very shaky. I mean, like when he hits his legs, his knees buckle. And he looks around and looks down at his body and nopes right out of there. He's gone. Doesn't look like, well, you didn't see him phase through a wall.
He's
just gone. You could see that, right? You just taken a shot at him, right? This looks different from the phase that he just walked through the wall, and this looks... it even looks different from when the guy you first saw you shot at. He just kind of dematerialized. This guy's just like, there's no like, ooh. It's just like, boom. I don't know how to explain it.
No,
You know what I mean?
It was exactly right. It was just great.
He just, poof, gone. Blinked out, which is slightly different than what you saw out in the field.
Out in the field, it was more like a Star Trek transporter.
Yes, and then the phasing through the walls was very similar to that look as well. And this one is just, and probably the thought goes in your head in a little kid's voice. It goes, just thought himself right out of here. So, do you hear? I don't know. You don't know what the other stranger's done. He's in the other room, and you know where if he phased into that room, then he's got to cross the entirety of the room to get to the doorway that comes out into the center hallway. So
I'm going to meet him at that doorway, or move to that doorway.
Okay, and you move to the doorway, and sure enough, you see the dude walking across the room towards the doorway where you're at. Mike, you would think, if he just walked through walls, why is he going to this doorway?
I'm going to, in my mind, play back the game-winning tackle from my days at the Air Force Academy, and in perfect form, regardless of my banged-up leg, I'm going to go down and attempt to just wrap him up and take him down. How does that look in actuality?
I don't know. I guess it all depends on your unarmed combat roll.
It's like we have the version that he anticipates.
Which he will contest with his own unarmed combat roll.
We need to find out what it actually looks like.
Do you want any pluses or minuses for my current physical state?
I do not.
Okay.
You are trained to push past physical pain.
Okay.
$36 on a 60.
He got a 50 on a 50. You win.
Is that how it works?
Pretty sure.
Didn't you say it was like Price is Right? The closer you get without going over?
You might be
You
right.
did say that.
That seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? Like if you're trying to roll low, why would the higher winner?
Well, because in this game, it's not like...
No. Well, once John said that, I was like, wait a minute, I think
Unless there's something like in Call of Cthulhu, there was a fight back or a fight back or a dodge, and the attacker would win a tie on fight back, and the defender would win a tie on a dodge. If there's something like that, then I think that would have been a fight back. So I would have won, but otherwise...
yeah, fighting back opposes all hand-to-hand attacks, which is what you did.
Yeah.
My recollection, right after you said that, John, is that was...
closest to their skill without going up.
Yeah, if both have the same degree of success, then whoever rolled higher
Within theirs. Yeah, I remember that discussion.
wins.
There was nothing in fight back about it being like Call of Cthulhu where the attacker wins if you try fight back and it's tied, or the defender wins if it's a dodge.
It's in there somewhere. It wasn't right there at the fight back section that I just skimmed through. So, so I'm just going to say it's a Mexican standoff kind of thing, where you tried to get in there and tackle him. He was able to, like, matador you.
Okay.
So you're still in the room. You kind of spin around after he was successfully kind of pushed you off your path. And it is your turn. You are currently on the porch.
I'm gonna hop back into the room and make my way in to be sure that Brandon is where I left him.
Yep, you hop back in. You can immediately see Brandon laying on the floor, just like he was.
Do I, just because the way time kind of works in this, do I see him heading into the room?
Yes.
I'm going to follow after.
Okay. So I'm gonna say you can get like to the doorway, and you can see these two kind of like prize fighters like circling around each other.
Then I want to take a shot at stranger guy.
Absolutely. I'm going to tell you that a fumble runs the risk of shooting shooting Scotch.
I'm willing to take that risk.
As you should be.
A 31, so success.
Cool. Roll your damage against this guy.
9.
Wow.
I finally helped.
Okay, it's the stranger's turn. He looks past you and he looks to the door like he wants to make a dash for it. Sees you standing there, your bullet rips into him, and he looks down and he's hit. Realizing he's only got enough to do one thing, and blinks. He is gone. The front porch is demolished. The bodies of a huge thing is out there. These weird little zombie kids. And standing out in the middle of a field is now about 3 foot tall thing that was growing from the stone he put, but it has stopped growing. It's just stuck, almost like a statue. Things have quieted down a little bit as the eerie calm comes over what was just the most frenetic shit. You can hear the wails and crying and screaming of about 30 campers upstairs. And you can see Ranger Gallegos at the top of the stairs looking down with big wide eyes like, what's going on? You don't believe she's seen anything, right? Neither one of those strangers were in her field of vision. You asked her to cover the stairs. She knows the front door's been blown to hell. But, yeah. What up?
Ranger, we've had a bit of a situation. There's been a chemical spill. I need you to get all of these people, and y'all need to start heading towards the gate.
The only way out of this building is through the front door. Directly in the path of the big, giant, gross thing that we killed. It's going to be 30 people who are going to be talking about the monstrous alien thing that was at Yosemite.
Okay. Do I know where the other keys are?
Sure, you saw a thing, a key rack in an office.
What if there was a lightning strike at the front of the building that caught the building on fire and everybody had to evacuate out the window upstairs?
Do you know how hot a fire has to be to burn flesh?
No, but I know how hot it has to be to get people to leave.
They'd also leave if the dam opened.
Just because it would be fun.
Well, we have the one 3-foot thing in the field. We got the one big thing back here. We've got a bunch of damage that we can't explain.
4 little zombie babies.
4 little zombie babies. Question is, how many people do we leave alive?
But even if all we can do is set fire to everything so that everybody leaves, we could let Delta Green know and they could send a crew out to remove the charred remains, even if it's not hot enough to destroy it. I have friends at the EPA who could come help clean it up.
If they couldn't leave because they would see the thing earlier, setting the thing on fire doesn't change that.
But if the building is on fire, then they just run the other direction.
We could tell them to go out the back door.
There is no back door. It has been established the only way in or out of this building is the front door.
We could herd them out the window.
That's what I said.
I thought you said once they get out the door.
No, like once we get them out the window, like that.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm going to call up to the ranger that there's been a lightning strike on the front of the house.
And a chemical spill? I'm sorry. I'm just being a dick. All right, there's been a lightning strike at the front of the house.
You're going to need to get everybody down and out the window as safely as possible and move to the cardinal direction that she would definitely know in the opposite direction of the front of the house. But I don't know. East?
The front of the house faces south.
It's north.
Mm-hmm. Which heads towards the dam. Right. So she comes like halfway down the steps. And getting these people out. Can I? Could you just like guard off the front there of the house, and I'll bring them down the steps, and then take them out one of these first floor windows? Were those gunshots I heard?
No, I'm pretty sure those were pops from the electrical box. It's really not safe. I'm going to like scoop up Brandon and like put him in her arms. We're really running out of time. Is there any way... Sure, and I'm going to like shoo him to the front to go get him to like start a fire. There's smoke coming. And if they come down the stairwell, they'll be like, if they get to the bottom of the stairwell, they'll be facing the front door, won't they? Yeah, just keep everybody safe for a second. Let me make sure it's safe enough to have everybody come down and move out a lower story window. Give me just a few moments.
So she turns around and she goes upstairs, and you can hear her telling everybody, all right, I need everybody to stand up, and we're going to go down the stairs. We need to evacuate the building. Now, remember, don't go fast. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. So we're going to go nice and slow and smooth. Everybody help each other up. Get all your belongings. So she's mustering them up. You've got a few minutes.
So I'm going to look at him and, like, in the radio and be like, I need you to go start setting fire to things.
Okay, I'll go set fire to things.
Okay. Relatively easy to do. Probably on the lower end of your demolition abilities. Anything you want to do with the 4 bodies or the 3-foot tall stone statue out there? I'm assuming the big guy is right there near the porch. He's going to start becoming part of the fire. And the Jeep as well.
I'm going to try to put them all in the fire.
Okay.
Except the Jeep. I don't think I could pick her up.
All right, so you started a fire right there, kind of at the foot of where the steps would have been. There's a bunch of debris from the front of the house and the porch and all that stuff. But things are really wet. So give me a luck roll. That's a terrible roll.
It's a fail.
I mean, that's a terrible choice. It shouldn't be a luck roll. It should be a skill. Give me your demolition skill.
$44. It's a pass.
Critical pass.
So with the wetness around here and everything, and you know you've got very little time, you think that your best bet is to Molotov cocktail the Jeep's gas tank.
It's pretty epic.
That was my plan B for if the big guy didn't die earlier by ramming him. I was just going to leave it there and set it on fire.
Right. So, using your demolition skill, you shove, I don't know, you probably rip off half your T-shirt, or maybe you hate suits so much you actually rip the lining of your suit jacket out and shove it in there. You pull out your Zippo that's, engraved with your unit's name on it or something. Light that up and then get the fuck out of the way. And you probably, come over to her, tell her to get back. And it's far enough away from the front of the house that it's not going to like blast the house, but it's going to catch that whole area of stuff on fire. So the Jeep is flaming, the weird fleshy thing monster is aflame, and the very front of the house is now aflame.
I'm going to call up to the ranger. All right, you got to move quickly out this door, out this way.
She comes down and she sees the flames where they're she's, holy shit, it's moving fast. But she's still everybody, slow is smooth, smooth is fast, and she's directing them to come down the stairs, do a U-turn, and there's a window on that back wall, right. And they're all getting out there, and then she's mustering them up. And she is trying to do all this while holding Brandon McGill.
I'll take Brandon from her arms and say, let's all meet at the Devil's Chair. Or someplace, some other place away from here.
Yeah, she's probably just going to take him a couple 100 yards. A couple 100 yards back from the ranger station. And Brandon sitting there in your arms, and he kind of starts to wake up a little bit. And he reaches back and he's like, I think I do want it out.
Okay. I'm going to head out the window with them, and instead of following them, I'm going to meet back up with him because he has a much better skill level in these kind of things, and probably put him, like, open up the trunk of the other Jeep, set him down there, and hey, he wants the thing out of his neck, and I think that is a spectacular idea.
At this point, we may as well just take him back to HQ with us and get somebody who's actually trained to look at it.
Unless it's the thing that's giving him his power to move stuff, then he could go back.
Especially because what all is it wired into? And our bosses are going to want to get their hands on it. So
maybe we should ask Jace what we should do.
Jace is FBI.
Jace is FBI, but she is a Delta Green agent.
Oh, okay.
As her, mundane job in the FBI, she saw the report come across, and then she started causing bureaucratic headaches to slow down the response so that you guys could get in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Radio Jace.
Jace, this is Petri. Do you copy?
That's a good copy. What's up?
So, long story short, we've kind of taken care of the problem, but we are left with a young boy with something lodged in his neck from the things that took him. I'm not going to get into it right now, and I need to know what to do with this child that is 40 years too young and has telekinetic powers. Please don't ask.
All right. Situation secure?
Ish.
Is there still room for Chopper?
Yeah. Careful, because there's quite a few things on fire, but it's fine. We will need a cleanup crew.
Well, with the weather clearing, they're having a hard time keeping the parents back. But you're saying this child needs to come?
More than likely. He's been given or developed some sort of telekinetic powers that are quite powerful when fits of rage happen, and I don't know if you're a 6-year-olds, but tantrums. So he's not necessarily safe for public spaces.
All right. Well, is there any other? The front gate is about to let people back in to the park now the weather's cleared. Is there anything else they need to send?
They need to send evacuation help for the people who are up here. There's been a major fire from a lightning storm that's happened in this area, and we have about 30 campers that need to make it back down to safety to the gate. They probably shouldn't send people up to this ranger station.
All right. So I'll have them send emergency personnel. That's going to probably take them 20 minutes or so to get those from, but it's a good reason why they can stop people from coming in, especially the parents. You guys stay there for extraction.
Thank you.
So after, 15 minutes or so, you hear the unmistakable sounds of chopper blades. There's talk going on among people about the severity of the storm, lightning strike, the huge flames they had to get past, and how traumatizing it was to do that U-turn at the bottom of the stairs with those flames on there. Not a word about Sasquatch. None of that stuff. You might have heard a couple of people say, the lightning, man, it sounds like guns going off sometimes, and little things like that. But chopper lands, still got a little magnetic emblem on it that says FBI. As you guys are about to get on, Gallego says, "What about the kid's parents? They're coming to get him. How you're taking the kid away?"
No, the chopper's going to take us down to the gate where his parents are. Due to the fire and everything like that, we didn't feel safe bringing more civilians into the area. But this chopper will be stopping down at the gate to reunite him with his parents.
Well, we're going to need EMTs, fire. If they don't get here quick, the building's gone. But, some of these people are pretty shaken up, so.
I've already had our people call down to your people. They'll be sending a lot of emergency services up here to support you in removing all these civilians. But due to the nature of the young man's day and days he's having, we thought it best take him with us. Go ahead and take him to his parents.
Yeah, she's having a hard time staying engaged in your conversation because she keeps looking over at people doing things and just her need to help, right? So she's like, okay, well, and then, somebody yells something and she goes running over there so she's doing crowd control and working that, and you guys hop on the chopper with young 40-year-old, 6-year-old Brandon McGill and lift off and off to wherever black site they're about to take you and young Brandon McGill. And he looks up at you and says, "What happened?"
I'm not really sure, but I don't think that the strange men people are going to be coming back for you. I think they've gotten the point across that it's not that easy to take my friends.
Oh, that's nice. He snuggles up against you. And it's been a hard day for him. Starts to doze off a little bit. There's a little point where he stirs a little bit, and then you hear a little whimper, and all the lights in the chopper just start to blink off. Like, oh, holy shit, we're losing power. That's where we'll end.
That's not fair. No.
The kid still has some powers, and you know what happens when he's sleeping.
That's true. Damn it.
Oh, that was fun.
That was so much fun. That was so good. A lot of things came in the end there.
I nerfed it a little bit. There were supposed to be 4 of the big guys.
Jesus. But there's supposed to be more of us?
Maybe, yeah. So.
May have been. Because for a minute there, I was sure we were going to die. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, so was I. No, so every time they did, they're like get in somebody's head or telekinetically throw a log or make themselves invisible to somebody or phase through a wall. Each time they did that, it cost them 3 points of willpower. And they started off with 19. By the time they phased into the house, it was like their last-ditch effort to get Brandon. When they did that, they were both down to 4. So when that one guy, you had him down to 1 hit point. He was like, he could make an attack against you and then not have the willpower to get out. And so he just decided he was blanking himself back home. And essentially the other guy who had 4 points left, when he saw you were blocking the doorway, right, to get to Brandon, he would have had to do some telekinetic thing to you guys, which would have then left him without enough willpower to get home. Right. So at that point, he realized it was a lost cause. Blinked out.
One of the classic blunders.
Not saving your willpower?
You know, you got to hoard things in these games.
Yeah, that's right.
Are you talking about me and my luck that I never spend?
No.
No.
Just making a generality.
Oh, I thought you were picking at me. No, that was super good. I enjoyed that quite a bit. I got very startled by how many things were coming out of the woodwork. And then there was like a whole nother big guy like growing. I was like, no, I can't.
So most of your sanity loss came from unnatural stuff. Well, a lot of it came from them entering your mind, didn't it?
For him?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Because that would have been just helplessness or unnatural. But most of your sanity loss did not come from violence. So sample disorders for helplessness are addiction, anxiety disorder, dissociative identity disorder, depression, enclosure-related phobia, doesn't make a lot of sense here, obsession, samples from disorders from unnatural sanity loss, amnesia, depersonalization disorder, depression, dissociative identity disorder, fugues, megalomania, That one might be a good one for you. I survived that shit. What does it mean to look upon the face of a dead god and live? Some see themselves as messiahs or an exempt from ordinary morality. Yeah. So there is a downtime thing. This is called home, right? And that's where you could rebuild your willpower or your sanity. I forgot there's that whole rule about when you guys had sanity loss, you could have projected that off on your bonds. You could have saved some sanity. We'll get better at it as we play some more. But in downtime, you can try to rebuild bonds, heal sanity, gain back willpower, seek counseling. But when we do play the next one, we'll start with the home, the downtime thing, so you guys can get back some of your sanity loss, and that's when we'll decide what your disorder is. The disorder, you just mainly role play it, but there are times when you have an acute episode of the disorder,
right,
when certain circumstances arise, then certain things actually happen, and you must act a certain way. That'd be cool. So,
yeah.
Anyway, that was fun.
That was super fun. Thank you for running that. I appreciate it.
Thank you for running it.
Well, thanks for saying thanks. Cool. So thanks, everybody, for joining us. That was our first actual play, Rocky at Places. I apologize, of Delta Green, but we had a blast. Hopefully you enjoyed it, too. Thanks, everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.